Whiskey friends, far and wide, we are live. What's up, y'all? It is Eric, your humble malt muser, and it is Tasty Tuesday. And that only means one thing. We got Whiskey Happy Hour coming your way. Great to see we got some folks in the chat already, which is awesome. I got a hell of a show set up for tonight. So I'm really looking forward to catching up with y'all. As you all know, I was out last week on a little bit of a vacation to France, Paris, to be more concrete about it. And I have a bunch of stuff to share about that trip as well. So we'll get into all of that and uncorking a new whiskey in just a few seconds. I'm warming things up here with a Tullamore Dew, straight up, easy peasy, Irish whiskey. I'm looking forward to this show tonight. So let's get after it. What y'all got in the glass? Get at me in the chat. Let's go. First in the door tonight, Gerbic, Jupiter, Florida. What's up? Hello to you, sir. Too slow, right on his heels. How's it going? Donner Pass Whiskey, Northern California, spanning the United States here. What's up, man? How are you? I did have a good trip, sir. That is correct. And great. You'll be able to check out the live replay later on tonight. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. Ardbeg 10 in the glass for Mr. Gerbic. That's great. Hey, long time no see. It's Emily Chambers. Awesome to see you, Emily. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. You can catch the playback too if you're interested. Paul in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. What's up, man? Good to see you, sir. And there's Greg from Petty, the Whiskey Guide. How's it going, man? Awesome to see you in the house. Long time no see. Great to see you, man. My Laph 10 is a rather old red stripe in batch 2. That's awesome. Georgia suburbs. It's IC86 in the house. How's it going, sir? Great to see IC. My fellow Illini. Chris S. What's up, man? Mahir coming in from Delhi, India. Hell yeah. What's up, buddy? Awesome to see you, man. Paige is in the house, repping Jersey. Laphroaig and Benriach lined up. Perfect lineup, man. You picked right. Great to see everybody, man. Straight Al's in the house, coming at us from Northern Ireland. What's up, buddy? Tony, King of Prussia, just outside Philly. Great to see you, Tony. SoCal, Los Angeles, Cohen. What's up, brother? Great to see you here as well, man. We've got a hell of a crew in. This is great. Awesome to see everybody. Oh, it's James Morgan coming at us from London. We got a few folks across the pond, man. This is great. Awesome to see you. Thanks for swinging in, James. Oh, Daniel with the super chat. Man, thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Very cool. Peter White, Ontario, Canada. Kleinleash 8 in the glass. Sounds like an excellent pour. Chicagoland, reppin', Silverlock Whiskey. What's up, buddy? Awesome to see you, man. Apologies to Winston in advance. Go Braves. Yeah, we got World Series tonight. Should be a good one. Game 1, right? This is a hell of a series. I watched a little bit of it. All right, everybody's saying hi to each other. This is great. Okay, so let me do a little bit of housekeeping before we dive into things. First and foremost, I apologize to Tony, Juan, and who was the third person on the list? Donner Pass Whiskey. I did not get you emails out before I left. You guys did win the raffle of the samples a few weeks ago, so you will be getting an email from me this week to coordinate that. So expect that coming your way. And again, thanks for your support on Patreon. Tonight on the show, for happy hour, it's an exciting day for me because I came home to the brand new Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength. This is batch 13 from 2021. I'm going to uncork this bottle, check it out. see how that stacks up. We may even do a little comparison. I do not have a batch 10 to compare it to, but I got an old one, a batch 4 from 2012. Maybe we'll do a little side by side. We'll see. I also do want to just give another quick shout out to Greg's Whiskey Guide. Greg, while I was over vacationing in Paris, we had the opportunity to get together, and Greg welcomed me into his home and poured me some amazing samples. We had a hell of a whiskey tasting together. For folks who are on Instagram, if you check out Malt Muser Whiskey on Instagram, you will see a bunch of pictures of our little tasting that we did together. So thanks again for that, Greg. I really appreciated that, and I appreciated the samples you sent me home with. They arrived safe and sound. I'm looking forward to diving into those. As a little sneak preview, man, Greg was very generous with his amazing collection of whiskey. I think one in particular that was quite a treat was a 1979 Port Ellen, which was just unbelievable. I believe there was one other that really stuck with me, which was that independent bottling 40-year-old Bunnahabhain. So we had a hell of a tasting, y'all. I encourage you, if you're not if you're on Instagram, to go check out Malt Muser Whiskey. On Instagram, you will see a bunch of pictures from my time over in Paris with Greg. So that was a great time, Greg. Again, cheers, man. Appreciate it. And for those of you who are not yet subbed to Greg's channel, he has a whiskey channel. Check out youtube.com/Greg's Whiskey Guide. Greg, if you want to drop the link in the chat, if you're still here, feel free to. I will make sure that folks get a chance to see that. Greg's doing great stuff. So yeah, I'm happy to be back here for happy hour. I did pick up a few things over in Paris. I went to a couple amazing whiskey shops, including La Maison du Whisky, the Whiskey House, which was really one of the most amazing whiskey shops I've ever been in. I do have pictures of that on Instagram as well, if you want to check those out. But a couple of the things I picked up, which I'll be sharing over the coming weeks, the two in particular that I'm really excited about, these are both bottles that were selected by La Maison du Whisky, so they weren't selected for. These are casks that they picked themselves. One of them is this. This is an Aaron private cask. It is 11 years old, bottled at 56.3% sherry hogshead, non-chill filtered natural color. Really stoked about this Aaron cask pick that I got from them, and I got another cask pick from them as well. One that I think Telex in particular will be quite excited about. It is a 2009 Benriach. This is again a bottle. This was selected by them. It's a 12-year-old, 59.8% peated port pipe. Stoked about these two. I may even open one of these tonight. We'll see how it goes. Also picked up something kind of fun. This is a French whiskey called Edu. This is the lowest end on the this is the introductory bottling that they have. They have a couple of them, but it is a whiskey made from buckwheat. So I did get to try one of the higher end bottles, courtesy of Greg's Whiskey Guide. So I picked up this silver, and I'm really excited to kind of dive into this and see what it is. This one's 43% ABV, no filtration and natural color, all good things, but it's a buckwheat whiskey. So we'll check this out. Also grabbed a Blanton straight from the barrel, because, when you're over in Europe, the Blantons are, they're everywhere. They're hanging from the trees. So I grabbed one of those as well. So it was great. Got to bring a couple things home, and I'm hoping to try these out over the coming weeks. And who knows? Maybe I'll even toss one of these in the next Patreon raffle, so folks can see just how the quality of the casks are that these folks were able to select from Aaron and Benriach. Okay, so let me catch my breath. That's a lot of information. Don't mean to talk so much. Let's get into the whiskey tasting. So tonight, as I mentioned, we're going to uncork this bad boy. I am freaking excited about this. My favorite Laphroaig release every year. We'll talk all about it. We'll taste it. We'll see how it is. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 Central Time, Telex is going to be hopping on the show, and we are going to do a Benriach tasting. We have a Benriach Smoky 10 and the Benriach 17 Septendecim. So we're going to taste both of those. We're going to keep it right here on the Malt Muser channel. So if folks want to kick back, get yourself a couple drams, we got some good whiskey chat coming your way over the course of the next couple hours. So happy to be back, as I mentioned, and hanging out with y'all. So I am just going to catch up on the chat here real quick, and then we will get into the Laphroaig. I've been thinking about this ever since I got home, so pardon me, I'm a little jet lagged, but still. But I think the Laphroaig should knock that right out of me, I'm hoping. All right, people saying good morning over to Mahir, our good friend over in Delhi, India. Silverlock's going to be in and out. All good, man. Congrats again, Juan and Tony and Donner Pass Whiskey. Y'all will be getting an email from me this week. I promise you, to coordinate the samples that you want. And again, thanks for the Patreon support. I do not know if it's already here. I ordered it online from an American shop called Saratoga Wine Exchange. They are based out of a different state, but they will ship to Illinois. So if you want to get a bottle from them, they also have other good stuff. That's where to go, at least I've seen so far. Daniel H. has got some green spot in the glass as a warm-up before he's getting in some batch 12. There you go. Kenneth S. Hey, man, how are you? Welcome. Great to have you. Let me know where you're located if you'd like. And I do try to give people shout-outs to their location when they are on the show. So if you want to let me know. At Malt Muser, sipping the Kilchoman Sanag. Delicious stuff. Oh, excellent. I haven't had any of those in a couple of years. I know they do these releases annually, and I think, they change up a little bit, but would love to hear which year that one was. The Buna was the 1968 41-year-old. Greg, you spoiled me, man. James is on some Bull Run 13 Pinot Noir finish from Oregon. Good body, nice legs. There you go. That's how they all are in Oregon. I don't know about that. I've never heard of that, so that sounds really damn good. We did not do any video, unfortunately. We just didn't really have the time or the setup for that. But there's a lot of good pictures, including most of the hot stuff that we tasted on my Instagram, and I believe Greg has tweeted some out on his Twitter as well. So it was really cool, meeting up with somebody from WhiskeyTube in a foreign country. It was fantastic. Unfortunately, I had the opportunity to meet up with another supporter that I've met on the show, but we just didn't get the opportunity to. Andrew Page has got the batch 11. Local stores have the 13 all over for 100. Can't get it cheaper ordering out of state. Yeah. Usually these things show up on the East Coast and West Coast right around the same time. I hope the Benriach is good as well. They are, yeah. Well, the Blantons, you can't get crap for Blantons here, and if you do, you got to go secondary market. You'll pay up way more. So, yeah, welcome, Kenneth, man. It's awesome to have you here. So we're gonna get right into that in just a sec. Cohen, Port Charlotte, Isle of Barley, 54, nice. Sergey gave it a 90. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Kenneth, this is the Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength. This is batch 13. So this is the release that is from for 2021. So it was bottled in 2011, and this is just coming on the U.S. market now. I have not had it yet either. There you go. Got it. All right. Braves are already scored. Jesus. Just picked up the Karch's PX this weekend. Hey, there you go. Awesome, man. Hey, good morning. How's it going? Is it Mayo or Mio? Awesome to have you in the house from Japan. I'll raise a glass to you. Slanch. We got Japan, we got Europe, we got India, we got the United States, we got Canada. Bunch of good folks in the house tonight, man. This is great. Awesome to see everybody. Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that, the Paul John Christmas. Yeah, I haven't found it yet, but I'm going to try and get it before the end of the year. Newest release of the Sand Egg. That's awesome. All right, y'all. Great to see everybody chatting it up. This is great. All right. So here we go. Laphroaig 10 classic whiskey. Here in the U.S., bottled at 43%. Over in the U.K. and otherwhere, bottled at a sad 40%. Definitely a whiskey that is a great place to start for Laphroaigs. But in my opinion, the best bang for your buck Laphroaig you can get is their annual 10-year-old cask strength. And the difference is like night and day. I did do a video maybe up to a year ago, my top 5 favorite Laphroaigs. The Laphroaig 10 cask strength was definitely on that list. And so what we have here is the 13th release or batch of the Laphroaig 10 cask strength. It's literally just their 10-year-old at cask strength, but this, in my opinion, is the quintessential Islay whiskey for under $100. I think it's probably the best thing Laphroaig releases in terms of its quality and complexity at an affordable price. I think this beats anything else in their core range, even the lore for that matter. So here's what the specs are here on this Laphroaig 10 cask strength. So here's what it's got to say. It is non-chill filtered. They say it's straight on here. Freaking great. You know, Laphroaig is notorious for the chill filtration. It doesn't say anything about natural color. I assume that it is, but we don't know for sure. This is all aged in American oak bourbon casks. Yeah, basically seasoned oak cask that is imbues this whiskey at the heart and strength of the wood. The casks are charred to impact light sweet vanilla. Blah, 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 blah. They say recommend you add twice as much water to fully appreciate the characteristics of this. Because the strength may overpower the palate. It's full-bodied and utterly unforgettable. 10-year-old cask strength is an Islay single malt at natural cask strength, rich flavors. Some come through as never before because the whiskey has not been chill filtered. Boy, why don't they just do that with all their other whiskeys? All right. This gives a depth and genuine taste and texture normally associated with sampling a whiskey at its source. So there you go. Batch 13, bottled January 2021, ABV 57.9% or 115.8 proof. I believe this is a little less than the 12-year-old from last year. They recently, as of last year, went to a green stripe on here. It used to be a red stripe for many years, and then prior to it was more of a stamp look, which we'll show you in a little while. Again, you know, kind of gives you all the same information on here. Imported by Laphroaig Import Company, Chicago, Illinois. That's where I am. I should go up there and knock on their door and see if they got anything else interesting, right? Okay, so that is the specs on this. Price-wise, you know, these have been creeping up a little bit. You used to be able to find these right around that $75 mark. Now it's more in the $85 mark, sometimes upwards of $100. But that's kind of, you know, the higher end price. But, you know, who knows these days? With the way the economy's going and inflation and supply issues and just the natural increase of prices, who knows? It may just, you know, 100 may be where it lands eventually. But I can guarantee you that even at, you know, it's a 10-year-old whiskey, but even at $100, it's a struggle not to recommend it. All right, let's get this bad boy open. Boom. Oh yeah. Got a fresh Glencairn here. What I've noticed with these over the years, and I've been lucky enough to have a bunch of batches, you know, they're all a bit different. You get something different each time. And what I mean by that, especially on the arrival. Now, some of these, you find them to be a little bit more like meaty, savory. Others you find to be a lot more straightforward smoke and peat. And so like, it's kind of, you know, how it's all balanced out, and they're a little bit different each time. So we're going to find out how this one stacks up. I have reviews up of, I believe, the batch 10, the batch 11, and the batch 12. So, and they were all high scores. So I don't expect this to be any less, but we're going to find out. So this is the color. That. Now, just think for those of you who have had the regular 10. I mean, this is night and day, for sure. All right, let's get this glass nice and coated. This neck pour Laphroaig 10 cask frickin' strength. Okay, let's see what we get here. Rich, fruity, dense, and smoky. So the first thing I'm noticing here that maybe is a little bit of a departure from the last one, if I recall. Of the last ones that they've done, in the last couple of years, the batch 10 was my favorite. This one, sweeter. There's a bit of an apple fruit pear kind of thing going on. A lot of just like very light kind of vanilla. A ton of peat smoke. This is very dessert-like, custardy. There's ginger, little hints of that that barbecue, but that's a little bit fainter on this. This is much more kind of, yeah, very like nice vanilla, marzipan, kind of almond. Dense as all hell. Smoke. I mean, the of course the traditional thing you get with Laphroaig is a very kind of medicinal iodine, smoky peatiness to it. Now, peat and smoke are two different things. This is peatier than it is smoky. It's like walking into a dentist's office, antiseptic. It smells great. Not overly complex on the nose, at least initially, but I'm digging it. Yeah, sweet, slightly savory, smoky. Okay. Sláinte, y'all. Here we go. Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength Batch 13. Mm-hmm. Wow. Oh yeah. It arrives very oily. Caramel, apple jam, cinnamon, and then you just get walloped over the head with this intense chili pepper, iodine peat smoke, peatiness that the effervescence just takes over your mouth. Ashier on the finish. You get some milk chocolate, vanilla, long finish. Keeps going. Slight hints of coffee. Very, very much a straight up Laphroaig bomb. There's some char notes in this, like it's like charred meat. It's not like charred wood. It really just completely takes over your palate. A lot of spice on this one. A lot of wood. This one, I would say, as I mentioned earlier, where there's like some of them have been a little bit more, I guess I wouldn't say peat forward. They've been a little bit more kind of dense and savory, and then you kind of got the peat at the back end. This is a much more aggressive one. Nice molasses note too coming in now. This chocolate molasses thing that's kind of riding out this very long finish. Not as complex yet. I mean, this is a neck pour, of course, and just a couple sips in. We'll do some water on this. I highly recommend always putting water in your whiskey. Definitely going to do it on this one. But neat, this is just a monster. As you'd expect. Peat heads, rejoice. You'll love it. Do one more sip, neat. We'll throw some water on this bad boy. Oh man, I just love it. This is what Isla single malt Scotch is all about right here. Interesting little bit of a grapefruit citrus thing coming through now on the end. Slightly sour. I don't love that. Okay. A couple drops. Let's see what happens. We're going to do, about 2 teaspoons of water here. Bring this thing down a peg. See where it goes. Fresh. The citrus notes are kicking up with water. It's pricklier. Fresh lemon. Vanilla. Again, charred meat. A bit of that medicinal, iodine note. This has, the water's opening it up. You're getting a little bit more of that fresh kind of, what some people call like seashore, a little bit of brininess. But again, it's just a very dense whiskey. And that's what you expect with something at Cask Strength. The water brings all that chocolate forward. Woo! Vanilla, chocolate, chili spice, apple jam, apple cinnamon, kind of like a compote or something like that. Citrus is more there. Oh yeah. It's good. It's good. It's not mind-blowingly good, but it's good. With bottles like this, as it goes down and the oxygen works its magic, a couple months down the road, I mean, it may be a completely different whiskey. But I'll tell you right now, offhand, this is a closer. This isn't a starter. So my palate's going to be in a little bit of rough shape. But I don't care because it's Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength. What are you going to do? So here's what we're going to do as a point of comparison. I'm going to pour a little bit of a Laphroaig 10. This is a Cask Strength. This is from 2012. So this is at batch 4. You can see the labeling difference. This one's bottled at 58.6. So there's a 9-year difference between these two bottles. And just to kind of see, what if any difference may exist, have these changed at all over the years? You can see the old Laphroaig labeling here. I'll put them side by side so you can kind of get a look. Wow. There's a peppermint note coming through on that now. Okay. So I got to be delicate with this. These are not easy to come by anymore. I have a couple batch. I have a batch 3, and this is the batch 4. Unfortunately, I saw the batch 1 over in Paris, but it was like thousands of dollars. So, okay. Color. This is the batch 4. This is the batch 13. Not much difference. And just to do justice, I'm going to put a couple drops on the batch 4 here. Same amount, 4 or so, about a teaspoon and a half. Yeah. All right. Much different. This one smells older. And the way I'm saying that is that it's not, the notes aren't as fresh. There's a bit more of a richness in the nose. Meatier too. I mean, like savory, like dry rub. This, the new one, much more vanilla. This is much more vanilla forward. The vanilla is second fiddle. It's not nearly as prominent. This new one is much more vanilla forward. Okay, now we're going to go in for the taste on the batch 4. More balance, stickier, development lasts longer. Oh yeah. Wow. That's a banger. Okay. And now to the new one. Again, much more vanilla. It's just like jumping out of the glass of the new one. The vanilla in that batch 4, not as much. Oakier, woodier. This new one it almost is like more, if you've ever had the Laphroaig quarter cask, a bit more like that. It attacks the palate a bit more. Development is not as long. Kind of goes into the finish first, a little ashier. Definitely a difference between the two. I mean, this batch 4 from nearly 10 years ago, I think would be the winner here. If you got to taste both of them. Looking at like some of the more recent releases, which you can still find of this Laphroaig 10, excuse me, Cask Strength. I think this 13 is better. The 11, so we'll go from the 10, 11, 12. The 10 was probably my favorite, very aggressive, peat forward, a little bit more complex. So from what I recall than this one, the 11 pulled back a little bit. I think the 11 is probably one of my least favorites of the ones I've had. It just didn't quite have the punch that I expected from it, and it didn't really deliver on the kind of depth that I wanted. The 12 was also very good. I think this one is probably just slightly below the 12 so far. Let's go back in for another taste here of the 4. Oh man, these are serious whiskeys, y'all. So sticky. So what's causing the difference here? Honestly, I think it's probably the quality of the casks. I think over the years, like this, man. Over the years, I think, Laphroaig in general, they're probably like any distillery, they're trying to meet demand. They're probably not using this high quality of casks. Yeah. This is a 5 out of 5 whiskey. For sure. Even I would pay close to 200 for that, no problem. This new one, 4. So a whole point less, but still 4 out of 5. You're just not going to get a better Laphroaig. This doesn't have the complexity of the lore, which, while at a non-age statement, I think gives you a little bit more of a journey. Again, preliminary, right? I've only had this much. But if you want just an unrepentant, absolute peat monster that's got some depth, that's got some punch, this is the Laphroaig to buy, no doubt about it. It's definitely worth the price. So my prelim score on this is going to be a 4. I'll do a full review of it. But yeah, it's another stellar, solid release from Laphroaig. I do think you can kind of tell that their casks have maybe pulled a little bit back. And I think this is evident in some of their other more recent releases. I think if you compare quarter casks, for example, from like these to the older ones, their 10-year-old is, I think I gave a 3.75 out of, which was still a good score, but in my opinion, is not the one to reach for a modestly priced or Isla peated whiskey. I think you go Ardbeg 10, or even a few bucks more for the Port Charlotte 10. I think those are just more interesting. However, yeah, this is the Laphroaig to buy. I think this and the Lore out of their core range. And then, really where you end up having to go after that is to their much more expensive whiskeys. They do have a 16-year-old, which is sort of available here and there. First fill bourbon. I didn't think it was all that impressive. But then you're going into their 25-year-olds, which are just, you're talking $500-$600. So I'm not really including those in my chat here. Another good one. If you want the peat, this brings it. This is something what I would actually compare this to is another peated whiskey that's right around comparable price. Maybe a little bit more expensive than this one is the Ardbeg Corrycracken. This is like that. I mean, it's just a full-on assault. So, with John Campbell leaving Laphroaig, I guess this is the last one that's been released from them. Not a bad whiskey at all. I think this one's right there with recent releases. It definitely hasn't taken any steps backwards. It's not like some incredibly special. Hey, buddy. Oh, all right. It's nothing like unique compared to any of the other ones, at least as far as it's been so far. But you're not going to be disappointed with this. Come on. Winston the Whiskey Cat wants some attention, so have a seat, bud. Want some Laphroaig? All right. Here's Winston's quick capsule review. You ain't even getting close. He looks disgusted at it. You ain't having it, are you, buddy? All right. Do your thing. All right. Anyway, so that's that. As I mentioned, top of the hour, Telex will be joining. We're getting into some Benriachs. Both of them are peated. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to catch up in the chat here. But let me know. Are you a fan of the Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength? Do you own any bottles? Are there any batches that you've particularly enjoyed? Would love to hear what you got to say. Molasses is in the house. What's up, buddy? It's been a minute. Good to see you, sir. Great to have you here. Ben Demon Hunter coming in from Alberta, Canada. Great to see you. What's up, Nathan? How are you doing? Great to have you in the house. Looks like the Braves are up 2-0 already. Could you do a head-to-head of the Carchis PX and the 10 Cask Strength? Based on your notes, they sound kind of similar. Yeah, I could do that. Of the 3 Laphroaig releases that have come out this year, which is the Sherry Oak, the Carchis, and this Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength, I think I would go, in terms of my enjoyment level, Carchis won. I think the PX Carchis, quite good. Then the 10 Cask Strength, again, solid, everything you expect. The Sherry Oak, decent, but these are all right around the same price. And so I feel like if you want a sherried Laphroaig, look for that new Carchis over the 10 Sherry Oak. I think the Carchis just brings a bit more. It's the PX Cask Strength. And then, of course, 10 Cask Strength right there. I could do a tasting. I mean, they're maybe I can find some time to do that soon. But yeah, that's kind of how I would fall on these. Great to see you, Ben Demon Hunter. Saying sláinte to folks. As I said, okay, Molasses is in the house. Oh, shoot. It's Trooper Henry. What up, man? Are you somewhere out in the Gulf of Mexico, or are you on shore these days, man? Yes, definitely fabulous stuff. You cannot go wrong. And this new batch is no exception. The red stripe is closed, and I was afraid the cork would break, so I didn't open it up. Oh, nice. Yeah, as I mentioned, for folks who were just joining, I just got back from Paris, and while I was there, I got to go have a great tasting with Greg. You can check out my Instagram, instagram.com/maltmuserwhiskey, if you want to check out some of the stuff we tasted. As I mentioned earlier, we had a 41-year-old Bunnahabhain and a 1979 Port Ellen. Some real amazing stuff. Again, thank you for those, Greg. Appreciate it. I wonder how Lagavulin 12 CS has evolved in parallel with Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength. I've heard a lot of folks seem to not like the new releases of Lagavulin 12, particularly than 2019 and the 2020. I liked the 2019. In fact, I had a dram of it the other night, and I still really enjoyed it. It's not as good as the 2018 or some of the earlier ones, but I thought it wasn't as much of a departure as some folks did. I have not had the 2020 or the 2021, so I'm not sure. You would think the 10 CS would get a better selection of casks than the standard 10. Well, yeah, or it's the same casks and they're just kind of, one of them is just not getting watered down and then the other one is. I'm not sure. Congratulations on owning another square foot of land. Yeah, Daniel. What's up in East Texas, brother? Great to see you, man. The ones that had my favorite was the batch 8, followed by the 12, 10, 8. Yeah, the 11, it just didn't quite do it. I'm with you on that. I'm not sure if I had the 8, but the 12 and the 10, big fans of. Do you think they used to put older whiskey in there? I don't know. My guess is no. My guess is that this is just Laphroaig 10. And I would probably argue that the quality of the Laphroaig 10 cask strength is probably in parallel with the quality of the Laphroaig 10. My guess is that they're just, it's the same casks. They're just not diluting it. And, Laphroaig 10 it's a great first starter, but it's not a whiskey that I feel like I anymore would want to, have on my shelf as a regular go-to. Mostly just because I think there are better ones. I think the Ardbeg 10 is just more consistent. I feel like the Laphroaig 10 is not what it used to be. And, maybe the 10 cask strength is kind of following accordingly. But, yeah, right there with you on that, Daniel. Samuel Cass, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Yes, they use 100% Maker's Mark. That's correct. Yeah, he's right. They do use the Maker's Mark American bourbon casks. Neck comparison. Did you prefer the CS 13 to the Cartridge Picks? Tough to say. I really like PX. I really, really like PX. So, although I was a bit more worried, I always feel like these are a sure bet. Results may vary a little, but you're never going to be like drain pour a fucking Laphroaig 10 cask strength. Cartridge, on the other hand, that one from last year, the port and red wine one, that didn't really do it for me. I also, and I know a lot of folks disagree with me on this, I was not as big of a fan of the triple wood cask strength. I feel like it just didn't deliver on what I was hoping it would. I didn't really care for the Madeira. Cartridge can be a little bit, it's non-age statement. So you really are, you're looking at either youth or youth showing through or a heavy overcoat kind of trying to, shave the edges off the youth. This, you're getting a solid 10. That said, I think the Cartridge, I was pleasantly surprised with the Cartridge. F Crown, what's up? Still got on the batch 7. Excellent, man. That was a really meaty, savory one. I remember that. 2022 will be the last expression of the Cartridge. Good to know. Yeah, I'll be curious to see what that's going to be. That's right. Winston sighting. Don't own any Laphroaig. It's on my list. If you like a heavily peated whiskey, man, this is the one to get. Any batch. Go for the 10 cask strength. If you can't find that, what would be the other Laphroaig I'd recommend? I don't even know. It's one of my favorite distilleries, but they're I'd say maybe the triple wood. If you're gonna go for a $50 Isla Scotch, go for the Ardbeg 10. I think it's it's 46%. It's non-chill filtered. It's natural color. I think it beats it. Kenneth's big fan of the quarter cask. Yeah, definitely. Quarter cask is a good one, although the price has gotten crazy in that. I remember when that used to be like $55. I see it now for like 75. It's nuts. Yeah. They are. I have a single cask Laphroaig 12-year-old high grove up there. It's only 46%, but it's freaking amazing. And I'm great. I'm doing great if you're asking me. Thank you. Yeah, Malmuser. That's awesome that you and Craig get to meet up. Yeah, it was a great time, man. Great time. You know, the whiskey world brings folks together, which is awesome. Amir's in the house. What's up? Just poured the batch 7. Wow, we got some batch 7 drinkers in the house. Really nice. Yeah. See, with that one, let me know if you think it's got this kind of mouth-watering quality to it. It's very like a grilled steak or something. I don't know. There's a meaty quality to that one. Cohen says you take the Port Charlotte over newer Ardbeg or Laphroaig. Fair enough. Batch 11 similar to the 7. Yes, it is. Yeah, exactly. Dude, I'm totally with you on that. Totally. I think the 7 I liked more. It was richer. It had more depth to it. The 11 I felt like kind of... Again, I mean, I buy 2 bottles of it when they come out, and I enjoy them all year. So definitely like those. You got Greg, SMWS 10 Laphroaig. Nice. Yeah. All right, y'all. So we got 22 folks in the house, which is awesome. Again, man, it's so great to be back. I hate missing the happy hours, so it's fun to be back. And yeah, you know, I'm giving the thumbs up here on the Laphroaig 10, if that means anything to you. The batch 13. 57.9%. Yeah, prelim score, I'm going to give that 4 out of 5. You know, it's, especially if you find it under $80, I'd buy 2. But that said, if you ever see one of these old ones, batch 3, batch 2, batch 4, I can buy this without hesitation. This batch 4 is next level. Okay. So, in just about 10 minutes, our good friend Telex The Whisky Tech is going to be hopping on, and we are going to be talking Benriach. I'm looking forward to that chat. And, you know, I thought maybe I'd have enough time to crack open this one I got from France here just to wet the palate a little bit, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it tonight. I still have some Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength here, so I might have to hold back on that for now. But I would love to, yeah, I'll open that one next week. We'll see. Hey, appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, IC86. I'm assuming you're going for the Braves tonight. Yeah, 100%. You're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head. Yep. It's, you know, it's more than 2 times better than the regular 10 Laphroaig, and the regular 10 Laphroaig is about 40% less cost. So do yourself a favor, spend the money, get the Cask Strength, because the thing about Cask Strength too, as Daniel's saying here, the value, you water it down to what you like. If you want to water it down, you know, to 40%, nothing's stopping you. You're just getting a better product, and it's non-chill filtered, unlike the regular 10. Laphroaig needs to kick that bad habit of chill filtering their whiskeys. They really, really do. Yeah, this one is just a vanilla bomb. What can you say? It's a little bit raw, bit more wood influence on this new one compared to the older one. And I do think this is probably related to the cask quality. That has probably taken a step back or two, but look, this is still a superior product to pretty much anything Laphroaig puts out in their regular lineup until you get into the, like, you know, 25s and 28s and 29. They have a 31, all that shit. Buy this without hesitation. It's a safe bet. You're going to get what you want. Batch 12 strong on the vanilla tonight. Yeah. Great to see you back in the Windy City, Malt Muser. Cheers, Ben. Yep. I'm back here. Sweet home Chicago. It's good to be back. Glasgow blend is my starter whiskey more days than not. You're talking about the Compass Box peated sherry one? Well, I got info for you. In 2 weeks, my review, not the next one, but in 2 weeks, I will be comparing the regular Compass Box release with a special kind of Cask Strength version. I believe it's Cask Strength version of that, which is higher ABV. I'm really looking forward to doing a little side by side with that. So some Compass Box Glasgow blend review content coming your way, Daniel H. At Malt Muser. Might need to eat something like a scotch. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna I got a couple little things around here, so I'm gonna snack on something. Yeah, dude, Laphroaig, I've ranted about this before, so I'm going to make this really quick. If you're putting your stuff in a green bottle, nobody can tell the difference of the color. Ardbeg doesn't color their whiskey. Port Charlotte doesn't color theirs. Also, if you think that adding color is somehow going to give you this neutralized thing, as if I'm going to remember what the Laphroaig 10 I drank 5 months ago looks like compared to the one now while I'm sitting at the bar, they're sorely mistaken. And give me a break. Anybody who goes to a bar and drinks Laphroaig for the first time, the color is not going to be the determining factor on whether or not they drink more of it. It's going to be the flavor. You either love Laphroaig or you hate it. This is not, you can't be neutral on this moving train, right? I mean, this is a very divisive whiskey. And fuck, their advertising celebrates the divisiveness. So, give me a break, right? Yeah, it's stupid. It's a bad habit. I would rather have it all on chill filtered. If you had the choice between non-chill filtration and natural color, and you could only have one, I would choose non-chill filtration and deal with the color. Because I think the non-chill filtration impacts the delivery and enjoyment of the whiskey more. But there's just no reason for it. I can't think of any reason for it. But old habits die hard. And they got millions of consultants telling them otherwise. So what do I know? $3-0 Braves. Yeah, it's called you know what? I'll message you on Instagram about it. I'll show you a picture. Yeah. I'll tell you all about it. Yeah. Ardnahoe, which is the Jim McEwen, the guy who resurrected Bruichladdich, is now opening Ardnahoe as his kind of, coup de grace, right? His kind of final act. He's an older guy, but yeah, everybody I think should be looking forward to that for sure. And we got 23 folks in, which is awesome. Let me just check in with our boy, the Whiskey Tech. Is that guy around yet? He'll be joining us soon. All right. Anyways, okay. So the Benriach that we have coming tonight is the Smoky 10, which is a newer release of theirs. And then an older one, which is the Septon Decim, which I need to actually grab because it's an interesting contrast. And Benriach, real interesting distillery. I'm really looking forward to getting into that. But all right, I need to put this Laphroaig 10 Cask Strengths away because Jesus, when it's sitting in front of me, I just want to have more pours of it, and then trouble happens. So keep your eyes peeled for the 13. Again, you're not going to be disappointed thus far. Again, I will do a full review. Prelim scores 4 out of 5. It is not it's not reinventing the wheel when it comes to Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength, but it's another solid release. Keep your eyes out for it. Good, tasty stuff. All right. And I see Gary's in the house. Bay Area of California. What's up, brother? Great to see you, sir. He was just there to show him what to do. Good to know. Yes, from his Stockings from Orkney. Yeah. That's right. Okay. At Malt Muser, you might be thinking of the Great King Artist Blend. Yes, the single Marion cask. You're absolutely right. It's not the Artist Blend. It's the Glasgow. The Artist Blend is the bourbon cask. The one I'm going to be doing is the Glasgow Blend, which is the sherry cask. I heard about your atmospheric river. What's going on out there? Give me just a second. I want to pull this compass box out just so I can show the difference. Where is that thing? Oh, no. Yeah. Glasgow Blend. Yep. So, yeah, so I'm going to be doing a side-by-side review of this soon. So this is a classic peated compass box sherry and bourbon cask, Great King Street blend, the Great King Street Glasgow blend. Peaty and sherried, it's 43%. And then I found this one, single marrying cask, exact same stuff, but this one's bottled at 49%. It is it was a barrel pick, and et cetera, 10 years. It was married in January 2019 and bottled later in 2019. Who knows how old it is? So there's a difference between the two. I'm going to do a little comparison. So that should be fun. So if you're, I do recommend this one. However, if you want a cheap, price-wise, peated, sherried Scotch, peat and sherry, some of my favorite things. If you haven't figured that out yet by the fact that I just bought this in Paris, this Benriach peated port pipe. Love me the marriage of heavy peat and sherry. So this is a really good one, a bargain for sure. You can find these pretty much anywhere here in the U.S. They also do a one called the Great King Street Artist Blend, which is a bourbon cask. That one's decent. It's not peated. I think this is the winner out of those two. There's also another one called like the New York one or something. I can never find it. These are around like $30. And it's good, solid whiskey for sure. Okay. So we should be expecting Telex The Whisky Tech here any second. And I'm glad to see that we still got 19 folks in, which is super rad. Let me just finish up this bomb Laphroaig. And speaking of bombs, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, gifted animals, it's Telex The Whisky Tech.
What's going on, man?
He's in the house here on Mount Muser, man.
How's it going?
The script. It's going well. It's great to see you, Telex. How are you, sir?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Good to be back in the saddle. I've been, you know how you were kind of feeling under the weather? I guess it's been a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything COVID related, I don't believe, but I've been having a lot of like, no congestion. I can smell, taste like $1 million, but just a lot of like just sneezing and just,
What does $1 million smell like, by the way?
I don't know, like a Brook Lottie Black Arts. That's what it smells like.
Yeah, man, I hear you. I had, yeah, that's why, I missed that week. I couldn't even do a whiskey review. I had strep throat, which is,
man,
it was brutal, man. It was absolutely brutal.
Well, thank God this is nothing like that. This is more of just a lot of sneezing and a lot of. So if I sneeze, I apologize. It's not not my control.
That's all right. At least the COVID, it won't go through the screen on us.
Yeah, I did the pulse oximeter, and I've 97%. So I know I'm good with that. No other weird symptoms like I can taste and smell and all that. So I'm pretty sure I just a rhinovirus kind of thing, or maybe mold spores. Some people are allergic to those. Usually I'm not, but you never know.
You never know these days. That's absolutely true, man. And yeah, I had to have a negative COVID test to even get on an airplane to come back to the United States from France. So
Yeah.
I know as of at least 72 hours ago, I'm COVID free, which is it's always good. Any day without COVID is a good day. Right?
That's the way to do it, man. No, I hear you. I'm glad you got to go over. I saw some of your pictures. I was like, wow, that's some of the whiskeys this guy got to see and taste and buy.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
It was really fortunate, man. As I was mentioning earlier here on the happy hour, and I believe Greg's still here. I got to go do a whiskey tasting over with Greg's Whiskey Guide. Again, for folks who haven't subbed, do check out his channel, and also, of course, check out Telex The Whisky Tech's channel. You can drop your link in the chat if you'd like. I can make sure folks see that. And yeah, I had some great samples with him, and then. Some of the pictures I took, I went to 2 locations of La Maison du Whiskey, which is the whiskey house in Paris. And holy crap, it beat the Whiskey Exchange in London as far as whiskey shops I've been in. It was like nothing I've ever seen. They had 1968 Balvenie single casks, freaking just mind-blowing stuff. An Ardbeg 21 that looked like it was from like the 1970s. Just crazy. And again, I have a lot of my pictures on Instagram for that, for folks who want to see it. And so let me just pop this in the chat right quick. If you haven't yet, take a second, open up another browser tab, copy that link, subscribe to Telex The Whisky Tech.
Sorry, it's not the clean version, but it works.
It works. Yes, it does work. Telex is, of course, my longtime tasting partner, and we've done a ton of whiskey, and he's going to be working on some new stuff on his channel relatively soon that you are not going to want to miss. So be sure to hit him with a sub so you don't miss out on any of that. But Telex in traditional format, man, it's been a little while. Have you bought yourself anything new these days?
I was lucky enough to pick up finally, and I know you've had your own bottles over the years, and I've been lucky to taste the 4.1, 5.1, and 6. But I recently went out and got my own 8.1 Bruichladdich Black Arts. Thankfully, that was a big win.
Whoa.
So very proud of that one, and also picked up a Tanninic 17, which you don't really hear much about. It's not a very well-known distillery, but it's used. It's a Diageo. Usually they use it in a lot of their blended malts. And I've had the 10-year Flora and Fauna before, which it was one of my lesser favorites. But the 17 was actually surprisingly better than expected. So I've been playing around with that. I've been sipping tonight just to warm up on it's a Glen Elgin 18. This is a 50.
Very nice.
54.8%. Just warming up with that a little bit since it's not peated and not crazy heavy on the profile, other than like some nice florals and stuff like that. But that's enough for me right now. What about you, man?
In terms of new stuff, I mentioned earlier on the show, but I can share with you. Well, I just tasted this.
Oh, did you break out the 10? Ooh, the
Cask Strength. Again, I compared it with one from about 10 years ago, which is the batch.
Wow.
It's not. Again, they're not what they used to be, but it's still probably the best. Bang for your buck. Laphroaig, good stuff. Very bourbon cask forward. I think it's right in there with the 10, 11, and 12. Really excited to kind of jump in. Put a limb score 4 out of 5 on that one. I mean, it's just an overall. I mean,
how could you be wrong?
yeah, right. I mean, if there's a sure bet with your money in life, if you like peated whiskey, fucking Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength will be that. And so I mean, it's not so far. It's nothing amazing. It's very vanilla forward. It doesn't quite have the interesting complexities of some of the earlier batches I've had, but again, for $70-$80, come on,
Yeah, I mean, isn't it funny how a lot of whiskeys, it's and this happens with a lot of these other ones like Ardbeg Ugadals. If you're lucky to find a 10, 15-year-old version, it's wow, of course it's going to be a bit better, but does that mean you shouldn't buy the new one if you can? hell no, you should get it too. You know,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's not like you can just get a 2008 bottle of Ugadal every day. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. So yeah, so while I was in Paris, I picked up a couple things, and I'm definitely even if we don't do shows on them, we'll figure out a way to get you a couple samples of these, because I think I am hoping you'll be very excited to try them. So the first one I got, I don't know what to tell you about this one, Telex. This is called Edu. This is the entry level Edu. It is a French whiskey, 43%. It is non-chill filtered natural color. It is made from buckwheat.
Ooh, that's a new one.
Yeah. So it's a buckwheat whiskey. I had a more expensive version as part of the tasting with Greg, so I can't say that this one's going to be at the level of the one I had, but yeah, here it is. It's a buckwheat whiskey. I was like, this will be something kind of interesting. It's something different, something to try. It was around 45 euros, so 52, 53 bucks, something kind of interesting. But the real
Hold on, was that other one that you did get a chance to have? Was it also a buckwheat type of whiskey?
Yes, yeah, they're all buckwheat.
What did you think of the profile? Just out of curiosity, was it like what you expected, or was it completely different? Or?
It was really good. It was quite sweet. It doesn't. I mean, it's hard to explain. There's like a brandy element to it. It had this kind of depth, like this dark fruit note to it. That was So Greg said it. So Greg, this is the one I had, the Brittany Oak version, which for me is better. The gold, so it was a 5-year, So I mean, it was very interesting. I'm not sure this one's going to be a world beater, but I didn't want to spend 100 euros on it because God, you can't get out of these places. The wall of independent bottlings alone, there, man, would have blown your mind. But I do want to share it. So these are the other two I got, and these got me really excited. So these were not selected for La Maison du Whisky. They were selected by. So that means, the folks there did pick the casks. This one.
And those guys know what they're doing too.
It seems like
they definitely do when they pick that. Oh my God.
So this is an 11-year-old Aaron private cask. This is a Sherry Hogshead, 56.3%.
Look at the color on that too, and that's natural ale, man.
It's like the damn Edradour. Yeah,
it does. It reminds me a lot of the Caledonia series on the Edradour.
So this was definitely it's non-chill natural. So this was a barrel that they picked. So I'm very excited about.
That's going to be glorious.
I'm hoping so. I saw it was like 95 euros. I was like, this is the way to go.
That's a definite good price too, man, for a private select cask. I mean,
so this is another one that was selected by them. This is a Benriach, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. This is a 12-year-old. So this is from 2009. It's a peated port pipe, 59.8% ABV. This bad boy. Oh yeah!
Wow, man, that's crazy. I didn't know the new Benriach series was already doing these nice cask editions like that too.
Yeah, I guess I mean, it's a Rachel Berry pick. She's got her name on it. This is bottle 638 of 766, and this was selected by La Maison du Whisky, non-chill filtered natural color. So this is going to be a heavy hitting peated port pipe. Say that 10 times fast.
It'd be awesome to see how I'm not sure if you have any Atna still around, the Atna that we had, the peated port pipe. That would be a hell of a comparison if you're able to do it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Daniel, exactly, man. Yeah, I agree.
That's crazy, man.
Dude, you can get these. So the one that I went to over by the Louvre, that's the location I went to that I found those at, Greg. So you can definitely find them there. Yeah, I was like, dude, you wouldn't believe they had a 17-year-old sherry cask redbreast barrel pick. Wow. They had a wall of signatory, and I mean 20-foot walls, ceiling to floor, all signatory independent bottlings. Just like you would have been
heaven.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Let alone their dungeon in the basement, which had spring banks from the '60s and all
That
this.
was he sent me some pictures of the Springbanks, and they also had some Ardbeg 21 in there from like 1970 something. I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, dude,
It
that
was,
was the loan price of admission right there.
dude, it was crazy. Yeah. So if for folks who are on Instagram, you can just instagram.com/maltmuserwhiskey. I do have some pictures up of those releases, but yeah, I'm really, I grabbed a Blanton straight from the barrel because they're cheap over there, but bourbon's bourbon. But these are
Isn't
the
that
real.
surprising that the bourbon would be cheaper sometimes over there than it is over here? It's just so
Well, what's
weird.
funny about it, so it's not normally the case, but with Blanton's, all of their really interesting releases are not in the United States. So the Blanton's Red, the Blanton's Black, the Red is in Japan, the Blanton's Gold, and the Blanton Straight from the Barrel up until last year were only European releases, which makes zero sense to me. Now you can get them in the States, but they're fucking impossible to get. I mean, you might as well just forget about it. But I did get a Blanton Straight from the Barrel. It's like 62%, and it's exciting.
Sounds damn good.
The scotches, I mean, dude, it was hard to leave that place because it was like, I don't know. Do I have another credit card somewhere? It's like, Jesus.
Do you take IOUs?
Yeah, you guys, third party out of country, out of province checks. I'm good for it. I promise. You can garnish my wages and the fucking child support. I'm like, dude, they had bottlings there that would just blow your mind. But
I can imagine, man. Just the ones that you picked up alone were like, wow. I
was like, stuff, if I don't have a ton of money to spend, I thought, I'm gonna go for some barrel picks of theirs, something that's going to be a little bit unique, see what they're up to. They also gave me a really nice book for free, a hardcover book of like everything about their portfolio and their whiskeys and all of this, and kind of the story of their whiskey store. So Daniel asked, the Blanton Straight from the Barrel is 120 euros. And then they had for 100 euros, you could get the Blanton's Gold. So, I mean, that's what, $135 for the Blanton Straight from the Barrel, which is still expensive, but compared to here, I mean, on secondary markets, those are $280. It's just nuts. So, yeah, so it's interesting. And, so we're going to be talking Benriach. And, like I said, Telex, I will definitely get you this. When I saw, let me just give you a little anecdote. When I was in there and I saw this and I saw that peated pork pipe, I thought about you because I was like,
oh, man.
Who dig this the most is my boy freaking Telex the Whisky Tech. He'd be seeing that pork pipe peated and he'd be like, oh, yeah.
Ooh, when it's done right, man, that stuff is so good. And if it can rival that Emirate Atma that we had, if it's that like kind of caliber, which I think it would be,
I hope so. But we got two Benriachs right in front of us for tonight, and Benriach, interesting distillery. I don't
know if you had a preference on order or not at all either.
I think we can start with the Smoky 10. Why not? I'm happy to do that, and I think I'm happy to share just like a little bit of background about Benriach if you want to. So Benriach. Again, it's a Speyside distillery. They do a ton of releases. They were originally, well, I won't say originally, but in recent times, they were a Billy Walker run distillery. So the one that we're tasting later, which is this, I mean, you can see the difference in their labels, right? So you have the 10, which looks similar to this.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So Billy Walker is now the person running Glenallachie. And so Benriach was bought by Brown Forman, which is an American company, and Rachel Berry of infamy from Glendronach.
/ Bowmore.
/ Bowmore. She's a divisive figure in the whiskey tube industry, has been in charge of Benriach for a while. And, the first one we're going to taste here is from the Rachel Berry generation. And it's, I will hand it over to you. So just to be quick, they've been around since 1898. Again, Speyside, I believe, they are at least, well, we'll talk about this 17 when we get to it, but I'll hand you the floor to set things up for the Benriach 10, Smoky 10.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Like Malt said, Billy Walker, he is now with Glenallachie doing his thing, and I'm not sure if is he working in with any other distilleries that you know of besides Glenallachie at this
No,
point.
I think it's just Glenallachie.
And it's interesting to see how things change from old to new when these guys do shift around. One thing that I'll be looking at comparatively with this Benriach Smoky 10, which is the new one, uh, this takes the place basically of the, if you're familiar with the 10-year-old Curiositas, which was the peated old 10. And I'm going to be kind of, I don't have it right here with me, but it's very memorable. It was one of my favorite peated whiskeys that are not Isla, so it'll be interesting to see how this stands up versus that one. This one is definitely a bit different, and the major sticking point to me is that the difference what you get with this one versus the Curiosity or any other 10-year-old even peated whiskey is this one has three cask maturations. The craziest one that stands out to me is the extra Jamaican rum, which is you don't hear that very often with Scotch. If you're lucky to get a well done rum cask whiskey, it's extremely rare. So this is going to be interesting to see how it stands up with the also an ex bourbon cask and a toasted virgin oak is also
Wow. So a
part
lot
of
of
it.
funky, yeah, a lot of funky things going on with it. And this is part, yeah, like you said, they're like rebrand, right? So they have a regular, I don't know if you know the answers, but there's a regular 10 and a
Mhm.
regular 12, and then there's a smoky 10 and a smoky 12.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
My first introduction to Benriach when I first had a tram was their old basic 10, and that's basically also the new, just the regular straightforward. I think they still have a regular 10-year-old that they're offering now that's not peated. Yeah, the smoky is just a peated versus the not peated version. Benriachs are really good. I like the 10. I'm only speaking for the old one. I never had the new 10, but the old 10 is actually really well done as far as if you like a space side fruity vanilla, well rounded whiskey that's got some strength and character. Usually these guys do around 46%, thank god. So that's another great thing about them. The funny thing about this particular one is that this is a 10-year, this is at 46%, which is awesome. One thing that I kind of caught my eye is it says natural cask imparted color. What in the world does that mean?
I've seen that before. Is that just a fancy way of saying natural color? I don't know.
I'm since she, and when I say she, I'm speaking about Rachel Berry. Since she is now at Glendronach, and now they're trying to get away from the non-chill filtration and
Yeah.
stating that everything's natural. I'm wondering if this is just part of the
Well,
trying to mass produce some of this stuff, but it's a guess,
yeah,
unfortunately.
much like much like when you buy products at the grocery store where it says natural flavors, that doesn't mean jack shit.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, my guess is that means natural color, but I don't know.
I'm a little suspect to it, to be honest with you, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
okay. It doesn't necessarily always mean it's going to affect the taste, but like you all know, we like our whiskey to be natural, no chill filtration, no coloring. But with that said, I'm looking to see if it's specific on the chill filtration on it, and I do not see anything in particular. So that's another thing that we have to guess that it possibly is chill filtered as well, but it's since it's not stated either one way or another, it's really a guessing game at this point. But
yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah. So, what did this bottle run you?
that I should have remembered that you were going to ask me that. It's been a while, but I can tell you. Just give me 1 second to pull it up on the old list. I know it was not crazy. It was very reasonable, especially for a smoky, you know, 10-year-old whiskey with an age statement at least, and
Yeah.
46%. But let me see if I can get you the exact. This goes about $60.
Okay.
59.99 was the retail after tax. 9% in Maryland could differentiate depending on where you are. But this is about 10 years cheaper. I'm sorry, 10 not years, $10 cheaper than the Curiositas, which usually sits around $70. So
Okay.
that's something to take into account. I'm not sure if that's because of rarity though. The Curiositas might have been released at $60 here, but now it's going for 70, just for some background information there.
All right, interesting. So let me just grab a couple comments here before we dive in.
Sure.
Gary was saying he's had some really amazing Benriachs, great distillery. Greg's Whiskey Guide says he's going to leave, but hearing this for me, it's a tricky statement. There is the right to do a lot of wood technology to darken the color, hence the toasted virgin oak. Interesting. Mr. Gerbic says never had this distillery, but he sees it at the store.
Oh, okay.
Andrew Page, I like the Smoky 12 better than the 10. It's bourbon, sherry, and Marsala matured. Whiskey Advocate number 3 for what that's worth. Good to know. That's interesting to hear. Yeah, you know, I have to say it's an interesting release to come at it with 3 maturations. Now, Benriach, this is a little bit within their kind of MO, because I recall, you know, even the older Benriachs, some of the Billy Walker age, you see these, you know, 3 or 4 different maturations, and you definitely see that with Glenallachie, right? And Glenallachie, it's like their 10 cask strength, you know, they got 4 different cask maturations in it or something like that. So it's kind of consistent, you know, despite the changing of their master distiller, to see these multiple different maturations, you know, within the whiskey. But God, for a 10-year-old, I mean, so just to recap, the one that we're about to try here, which you just showed the color of, this is the Smoky 10, right around $60, and you said it is ex bourbon, ex sherry, or toasted virgin oak. And then,
well, it's a ex bourbon cask, but it's got a Jamaican, it's an ex Jamaican rum cask, also a toasted virgin oak cask.
So Jamaican rum, known for the kind of the hogo flavor, that funky note that you get out of, like, you know, things from Hampton Estates and things like that, which, you know, they have that kind of extra.
Oh, that really good one that we had,
yeah. So, you know, that's an interesting note that it's Jamaican rum, but yeah, a lot of interesting things, you know, for a 10-year-old whiskey. I'm just surprised to see all these maturations. And
I love the fact it's 46%. That's a huge bonus. I just wish the coloring and chill filtration was a little more, you know, clear.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. So let's dive in. This is Benriach Smoky 10-year-old.
And happy Tasty Tuesday to everybody. I love doing this with you guys whenever I get a chance, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. I think you will. We'll see.
Yeah. So we're gonna give this a try. 46% ex toasted virgin oak, ex bourbon, and
ex Jamaican rum.
All right. Here we go.
He seems sus. Are you sus, dude?
You know, like I said, you know, like Billy Walker seemed to have left that legacy with Benriach, because it clearly is continuing, at least in the years with Rachel Berry, because, you know, he's doing very similar things with Glenallachie in a lot of cases. So here we go. Okay. Interesting. A lot of vanilla, a lot of sweetness on the nose here. You know, I'm already thinking Jamaican rum. I'm looking for that hogo funk, which I'm getting a little bit of, but it's slight. I definitely am getting the kind of tropical fruit note.
Exactly. I was getting a ton of coconut off the bat, man. It's
coconut,
crazy.
Yeah, coconut, and, you know,
like a toasted
mango or something like that. But yeah, a lot of vanilla, coconut. Wow, that's interesting. There's a nice, you know, apple kind of note in here. Very sweet, light. I'm not getting a lot of smoke. So I mean, you know, it's a smoky 10, but you know, there's some, but it's not, you know, knocking. It's not like the whiskey that I was drinking earlier, that new Laphroaig 10 cask strength, nothing like that.
Yeah, coming from a whiskey like that to this, you probably won't get it as much, but I mean, it is there, but it's. I'll agree, it's not as prominent as the fruit and vanilla flavors that you get off.
This is a very, like, tropical, like a pineapple upside down cake.
Yeah, I even get like a slight cherry, like a real distant cherry note in there too.
Yeah.
It's funny.
This is interesting. Yeah, I mean, in a couple words, the nose on this sweet tropical light.
Are you
Relative.
getting any like a brown sugary kind of a note? Like
Not
not much.
much. Not much so far.
How about a ginger? Any kind of gingery note?
There's a little bit of that pickled element. It's more like a pickled ginger, not like gingerbread or something like
Right.
that.
Definitely a pickled ginger.
Like citrus light, but I wouldn't say there's much citrus. If anything, it's orange.
Right.
Like light citrus. All in all, very light, pleasant nose. I think it belies its name a little bit with the smoky tint. We're going to see how it is on the palate, but the nose is not, at least for me, blowing my socks off in terms of the peated element.
Right. Yeah, the ppm they don't really specify. Well, you get some more notes, and I'm gonna look and see if I can find
Yeah.
something
That's
on
about
the.
it. I mean, the only other thing I could throw in is maybe like a pear melon type thing. It'll be interesting to. I mean, when I crack open this single cast that I got in Paris of Benriach, I'm going to be really curious to know, because that says it's peated. I'm going to be very curious to see just how smoky that is compared to this.
Okay, here we go. There's a mix of peated and unpeated component whiskey with this one. The peated malt has been made using 45 ppm malted barley, but that's not the residual. That's not the after one.
Yeah.
If just often, I mean, I'll go in the I'll give you what I think the ppm is after the palate, but it's definitely not to that level, because 40 would be above like a Ardbeg 10, Laphroaig 10, which this is not that.
Yeah, this is not. I mean, just to be totally clear, I mean, this is not a peat bomb or smoky whiskey in any sense on the nose. But let's give it a taste. I think I'm about ready to give this a taste.
One last note I got on this was a really strong kind of a papaya kind of a note, like a plantain almost note on the nose.
Yeah, I see what you mean. To me, it smells. It's not to split hairs, but it's like more mango. But I really like a pineapple upside down cake is the thing that's really sticking with me. Very interesting to get these tropical notes on a 10 like this. And again, this goes back to the curious maturations that they've put together here. I mean, they're definitely swinging for the fences. All right, well, here we go.
Man.
Yeah, it's lunch. Happy Taste Tuesday. Wow. Huh. Hang on. Boy, this is interesting.
Yeah. It's not what I expected at all coming from the old 10-year Curiositas. This is a completely different whiskey, even though they're both peated.
So I can understand the idea of adding the toasted virgin oak as a backbone to kind of give this some heft. But I will say it is overwhelmed with a heavy sweetness. I mean, this tastes like you know what this tastes like to me? A first fill bourbon whiskey. This tastes like first fill bourbon to me. A lot of caramel. You mentioned brown sugar on the nose, getting that more on the palate. Vanilla. Definitely this would be, first fill bourbon fans could rejoice with this one. Interestingly, decent development. You do pick up some of that tropical fruit slightly, but it goes by the wayside, and then it's like amaretto and kind of a earthy peatiness. Again, not overpowering, actually pretty well balanced with the sweetness as it goes into the finish here, which is medium. I kind of like this.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. For the I'm getting the same type of notes he's getting on the palate as well. It's definitely more smokier on the palate than the nose, even though I did get it on the nose. I think if you didn't have that cask strength earlier, it might have been a little bit more intense on the nose, possibly. But that's kind of a guess. I mean, I don't want to say that, but
it's a judgment call, and you're making it, and it's not a bad judgment call at that.
But you're right. It's very much. It definitely hits to me. Like if you told me this, if you told me this was just a first fill bourbon whiskey, I honestly wouldn't like be surprised tasting it, because that's really what it does taste like. But there is a bit of that initial hit of tropical, which does have the aspects of that rum cask. I'm just debating them with myself. How well done is it? It's I do miss all the real cool nuances that we got off the Hamden, the Jamaican rum distillate. So it's like,
I think the Jamaican rum, the Jamaican element of the Jamaican rum here is not present that much. I mean, if it is with the peat, it doesn't quite show itself. Again, I'm thinking of that kind of yeasty, like funky hogo note. It's hard to explain what it tastes like.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if you've had a Hampton rum,
Yeah.
I will say though, like it's rich. It develops pretty nicely. This whiskey, and this was a conversation I was having earlier tonight on the channel on the show about the difference between, I did a side by side between the batch 4 Laphroaig 10 cask strength and the batch 13, the new one. And you detect the difference in cask quality. Like, this strikes me as very, very saturated, like, cask. I mean, the casks are really doing a lot of work here, because, boy, for a 10-year-old whiskey, the youthfulness is not very detected, other than in the shortness of the development,
Right. Exactly. You nailed it with it. That's my biggest complaint. Is it seems like it's like I don't know. I mean, I like it. It's just something. And I think Andrew brought up a good point. He's comparing the Curiositas with this new version. For your peat purists, you guys are gonna love the Curiositas more, because this is straightforward ex bourbon, presented whiskey. This one, with the Jamaican rum, it's more detectable to me on the nose than the palate on the Jamaican rum aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's there. Is it enough to make me want this more than the old Curiositas? And that's where I'm kind of having a tough deal. And I'm not even a peat purist. I like my peat with cask different, maturations and influences. So I should love this, and I'm liking it a lot, but I'm not quite sure where I'm at right now. I do love that coconut, toasted coconut,
it's
though.
A bit on the beguiling side. I mean, it's. I think it's like I almost would have rather not known the maturations on this, because I feel like it is making me look for things. The tropical fruit. Look, I mean, if you have older whiskeys that are ex bourbon cask, you tend to get tropical fruit notes out of it. But for this, I mean, you can tell that it's young just by it doesn't stick around all that long. But why do you would wonder where these tropical fruit notes come from? And again, the Jamaican rum aspect has thrown me off, because I am not a rum expert. I'm not a fucking whiskey expert, but I'm definitely not a rum expert. Makes me think, Jamaican rum has a little bit of that kind of funky estery note. You just don't get it here. And if it's there, the peat is masking it.
Only in the nose am I getting it. It's funny.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And I think you're right. The peat is like, it can't mask it as well on the nose, because the peat is not as profound in the nose as it is on the palate. So the palate's being kind of masked a little bit more with the peat. But I'm not complaining.
I'm a little torn between, like, this is a very bold. It's a lot of heavy, syrupy, kind of rich flavor, which is overwhelming, I think, any complexity. But again, I don't expect a ton of like depth and complexity to a 10-year-old per se. I'm gonna save it for my final thoughts, actually. But I'm gonna go for some water here.
Yeah, I'm gonna pour me a little bit more and add a couple drops. But yeah, I mean, I will say that it's much better than I anticipated it to be. Not to say that if I see Rachel Berry's name, I don't automatically, think it's going to be horrible or anything. But I think a lot of I think you're right about knowing the casks and who it's from. It makes us a little bit more nitpicky when we're getting into it. because there's a lot going on. The mouth coat's really nice. I do love the fact that the 46%'s there, so they really nailed it with that. If I'm going to give them some props, add a couple of drops. Did it change the nose for you on the water?
If anything, it's just bringing the sweet. Again, it's apple, cinnamon, and then tropical fruit.
Did this get spicier with the water for you? Because sometimes that does happen when you add a couple drops.
The cinnamon is coming through.
Oh yeah, and maybe more apple, maybe.
Yeah, both of those are coming through a lot stronger here. I mean, it's cut. The water has cut through that. Again, the kind of mishmash of stuff that you were getting before. But I still get, again, pineapple upside down cake. It's not a sharp pineapple. It's like sugary pineapple,
Yeah, like it's been soaking for a while. Huh. I'm getting more of a wood, not a danky old wood. I'm getting like a new wood aspect to the dram nose wise after the water too. It's got like a fresh cut wood kind of thing going on.
Yeah. No, I think it's showing a bit of its youthfulness with the water, and it's not a lot. I still think, the casks seem to have. Again, I have increasingly over the years in my journey come to the conclusion that cask quality over age as the most important elements of a good single malt seems to be holding true.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with this example, while you may not love the casks that they chose, the quality of the casks does seem to be represented fairly well here. And that alone is, honestly, something to be, held up. I don't know if you know what I mean when I say it. Do you know what I mean by, like, how powdered sugar tastes?
Mm-hmm.
The smell of this is like the smell of how powdered sugar tastes.
I call it, like, if I get that note on the nose or even the palate, I call it like confection sugar kind of a note.
It's confection sugar. Yeah, exactly. Like the powdered sugar on a nice Danish or some shit.
No, you nailed it. It's funny because I like this one a lot because of the sweetness. I know you're not as big of a fan of like a overly sweet whiskey like I am, but I do like the sweetness level in this one a bit. I love the palate on this after the water, believe it or not. Usually on a peated whiskey, I would prefer it neat. This particular one, I'm not sure if it's because of the toasting of the virgin oak and the balance of that, but with the water, man, I think it tastes a lot better for some reason with a drop of water on it. I'm going to do it again.
Interesting you say that. I find it much more drying, much more oaky, and more dark chocolate coming through.
Yeah. The finish, I think the finish is there, but it's dry.
Yeah. I actually think I like this a little bit more neat. It has brought the sweetness back a bit, but I do feel like it's lost a little bit to me. It lost a little bit of the heft. It's tasting much more like a lighter whiskey. I said the nose was rather light, neat. It's much lighter on the palate with water.
It's funny because I get more of the sugary sweetness with the water than without, but that's probably why you like it better neat, because you're not getting that more sugary sweetness after the water. There's something about it.
I think, man, I don't know what to say, but like, man, this is an interesting whiskey. I'm surprised so much by this. This is not like anything I expected.
Really?
No.
Did you ever have the chance to have the Old Curiositas by chance?
Yeah, I had. I mean, it was so long ago. I wish I could give you a decent descriptor of that. I fucking don't remember.
It was more. It was like a really nice, straightforward 46. I think it. Let me double check before I say that. 46. Yeah, 46% whiskey. Same ABV. The only difference really was the peat was a little more in your face. The ppm level, I think, was a little higher with that one. and it was a pure, straightforward ex-bourbon cask. The funny thing, though, was I think I get more ex-bourbon notes on this one,
dude.
and it might be because of the rum
It
cask.
ain't even ex-bourbon. It's first fill.
Yeah, I mean, it's intense.
It's first fill.
Maybe she got her hands on some really good quality, even though they're ex-bourbon. Maybe she got her hands on some really good quality ex-bourbon casks.
Strawberry, man. Strawberry. So much strawberry. I didn't think we would go this deep into a 10-year-old whiskey, but I'm telling you, the triple maturation on this, usually not something I go for. Like it's usually a red flag for me. When I was coming back from Paris, I was in the duty-free store at the airport, and they had this Balvenie for like 105 euros. It was a triple cask 16-year-old.
Oh, I've actually had that
before. 40%, and I was like, no.
I've had that one before, and I'll be honest with you, like if you're not the type that gravitates towards cask strength whiskey, it's actually pretty good. But if you do think 40 is going to be,
40 is what threw me off. But I was like, 16
yeah.
years old, triple maturation. Balvenie is, one of my more respected distilleries.
I thought it was good for like a straightforward, I think it was just a straightforward ex-bourbon cask, if I remember correctly. And I thought that 16 triple cask matured was actually from Balvenie was actually pretty good. So it might be worth at least getting I know they have the 12-year-old version. So if you get the 12-year-old version, maybe start with that and see what you think. And just think of it as a bump up if you got the 16 maybe. But I don't know. I was lucky enough to have a guy that was traveling with his wife somewhere in Italy, and I was like, "Hey, if you ever see something you think I'd like, let me know." And sure enough, he got me a Laphroaig PX, a Laphroaig QA cask, and that Balvenie 16 triple cask mature. It's crazy.
Not to digress, but Gary, I have a 6-year-old Stoisha picked by Jack Rose Whiskey Saloon in DC. I'm going to open that next week, I think, on my happy hour. I'm really looking forward to that one.
I can imagine. I have not had that one. I've heard of it, but man, for you to already have your hands on it, damn.
Yeah, it's a signatory release, but I was like, holy shit. I was so hyped because it's a Jack Rose pick. Yeah, I'll do a quick capsule review of that actually right after we're done with this tasting, Stephen Connor. Thanks for mentioning it. I do have some. Yeah, I'll share a couple things with folks in a few minutes. But I'm ready to go. Final thoughts on this Benriach, man. I don't know where you're at.
You feel free to go ahead, man. I think this is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. 10 years old, 46%, $60 US. First thought is, boy, is this a peated whiskey that I would share with somebody who doesn't know if they like peat or not.
Very true.
Secondly, the tropical fruit notes threw me for an absolute loop on this. While I don't think everything comes together perfectly, for a 10-year-old whiskey, this is good. I like the level of peat in this. I like the sweetness that it's bringing. It's interesting. It has this level of what I think is cask quality, which borders on an overcoat, which borders on too much. But I do really think, like, overall, for a 10-year-old whiskey, this is working. Would love to see this a little cheaper. I think the virgin oak addition to this is just to give this some level of backbone, or it would just be so overly sweet. I don't necessarily think it shines through enough. I think the balance could be a little better here. But all in all, I could see sitting around, pouring some of this as a set it and forget it, kind of whiskey, just something to sip on that I don't need to think too much about. I like it, man. I'm 3.5 on this.
Nice.
I think this is. I'm bullish on this. I think this is a pretty damn good whiskey.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm right along with Eric on this. Even though he likes it better neat than I do. I like it better with a couple, like a drop or two of water. We both really appreciated what came out of this one. I'll be honest, I was very suspect. And this is what makes me even stand out, even being a little bit better to me, was I was already going into this as I got my magnifying glass on because this is Rachel Berry, and I'm
Yep.
looking at the the lack of coloring, chill filtration, like being prominent enough. But the three cast matured thing also kind of threw me for a loop, thinking, well, is this really going to be convoluted? Is it going to be too all over the place, or is this going to make sense? And thankfully, after taking the gamble, after hearing about it, it has made me think, you know what, maybe I should try the Smoky 12 and see what it's about, because this is much better than I anticipated. I do not typically get into rum casks, but I have seen them well done on very rare occasions. I think the Glenfiddich Fire and Cane was a decent representation of a rum cask whiskey, and this one is a step up from that, even thankfully.
Oh yeah.
The tropical notes, I think, is where a lot of this comes from. I do wish it had more of the ester that we got from the Hamden. I wish it had that little funk thing still there. I don't know if the 12 has the same profile as this one. Maybe with the age, maybe it'll get more of that. I have to look into if the make of the 12 is the same as this, just a couple of more years in the cast. But wow, I'd have to say with I love the ABV. Um, the fact that it's got peat, I kind of do miss the option of the Curiositas, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
but I would still say this is very much above average. It might not be a 4, but I'll give it a 3.5 out
Yeah.
of 5, I think.
Definitely, man. That's totally respectable. 3.5s across the board for the Benriach Smoky 10. Don't let Rachel Berry scare you off. She didn't fuck this up.
No, she did not. I have to
don't know about
say
the
that
12, and I'll be honest with you, as you were talking, I was thinking about, like, I wonder if the 12 is going to be a little too rich. I feel like maybe the youthfulness of this is working in its favor, because it brings a little bit more zest and a little bit more punch. I'm hesitant on the 12. 2 years is just 2 years, but seriously,
since we're thinking about it, I'm gonna bring it up and see if I can see if it's the same profile as this one.
Yeah, do so.
Ex bourbon, ex. Oh no, it's completely different. It's ex bourbon, ex sherry, and ex Marcella wine.
That sounds way too sweet. But whatever. I look. This is good enough that it's worth trying. I don't know if I'd buy a bottle, but the $60 price point on this is the only thing that's like, oh, like.
Oh really?
But
the 12-year-old Glendronach goes for $75.
Well, yeah, and that's not worth it in my opinion.
You know what I mean, though. Everyone's going to say, "Well, it's the going rate," but the going rate has been increasingly too much over the last couple of years, in my opinion. It's like Springbank's 10 used to be $75. Now it's like $95, and this is just a matter of 2-3 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, and so I gotta say, yeah, high praise. I mean, this Benriach 10 Smoky 10 is, I don't know about the non-Smoky 10, but this Smoky 10, man, as you're hearing from Telex tonight, I mean, this might be worth a pickup. This is quite enjoyable. I'm pretty happy about it. Okay. So we are going to do another one, but as Stephen Connor mentioned, I did just want to take a second to self-gloss and share a little bit about my trip to Paris. So first and foremost, if you follow me on Instagram, you will see some of the shops that I went to, which was La Maison du Whisky in Paris, the best whiskey shop I've ever been in by far. It would blow your mind. You are talking ceiling to floor independent bottlings, a cellar with 1968 Balvenie single casks, a 21-year-old Ardbeg from Lord knows what decade, just unbelievably amazing whiskeys. So in addition to that, I also had a really great opportunity. I got to go meet with Greg from Greg's Whiskey Guide. We had a great tasting. You can see some of the things that I tasted on my Instagram, but I'll just mention a few of those. I had a 1979 Port Ellen, a 1968 independent bottling Bunnahabhain from Adelphi that was,
oh dude, you bitch.
Unbelievable. A Springbank Barolo from like the 1980s that was just killer. He really was generous. Amazing tastings. But again, so getting back to La Maison du Whisky, for the whiskey heads in here, like, you would, if you got $3,000, that's not enough to walk out of that store happy. I mean, there was a wall of signatories, and I'm not even kidding. A fucking wall of it, man. Like, row after row of just unbelievable bottlings, relatively reasonable prices. Unfortunately, they are not a, I had a really good chat with one of the people that worked there. Unfortunately, they don't ship, but I did come back with a couple whiskeys, that I thought would be, for my spending habits, would fit in there really well. One of them is this Edu, which is this is just the regular release. They do have some more expensive ones. This is a French whiskey that is made primarily from buckwheat. So I picked that up. And then the two that I'm very excited about are these. These are, when you don't have $500 to spend on each bottle, you got to look for where you're going to get the bang for your buck. And what I got here is I got 2 bottles of barrels that were selected, not for, but selected by La Maison du Whiskey. One of them is this. This is an Aaron private cask, 11 years old.
That looks so good.
50% sherry hogshead, selected by La Maison du Whiskey. And then
if that's 11 years, dude, could you imagine what a 30-year-old single cask is going to look like?
I don't even know.
It's going to make all the old school Dendronics look sad because it's going to be black as the ace of spades.
Right. And then this other one I got is a Benriach. This is a 12-year-old Benriach. It is a peated port pipe, 59.8%, again, selected by La Maison du Whiskey. These were both right around 110, 115 euros. I am very, very excited to try both of these. And again, I got to show you one other thing here. So the people that were really, really generous, they gave me an English and French version. This is a hardcover book of just La Maison du Whiskey's history and their catalog of the things that they have here. I mean, just
look at that new ball player there too. Cool.
Yeah, really amazing, dude. They had 1979 ball player. It was, this place made the Whiskey Exchange. This was on par with Whiskey Exchange. Even better.
It's like the French version, basically.
Unbelievable bottlings. The people that worked there were super nice and showed you around. They definitely knew what the hell they were talking about.
This is in France too, right?
Yeah, this is in Paris. Again, check out my Instagram. You'll see pictures of the 2 locations I went to. Pictures could not do justice to not only the beauty of the presentation there, but the quality of the whiskeys they had. I mean, it was just amazing. So I have high praise for it. I mean, this booklet alone, I mean, it's just filled with great information about the barrels that they pick and all about their store. They gave me this for free. I mean, it's a hardcover book.
That would definitely be on my coffee table in a heartbeat.
Yeah, man. It was a really great experience. If I had $5,000 more, it wouldn't have been enough. It was just, dude, they had a 21-year-old art bag in there. I swear it was from like the 1960s. The label on it.
I saw that. I was like, oh my God, how'd you find that?
Insane. It was insane. I mean, you want an Octomore? They had the Octomore, the early range Octomores.
Did they have like the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s?
A whole bunch of them, man. It was crazy. It was absolutely nuts. The
youngest one I ever got the chance to have was the 6.1, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And to find anything before that is a pain in the ass without paying a boatload of money, it seems.
Yeah, like. I asked them, like, you guys sure you won't ship? They're like, no, like, sorry, we don't. They had like 3 locations in Paris. I went to 2 of them.
Wow.
One of them was much more mind-blowing than the other, but yeah, Greg pointed me in the right direction. He's like, if you're going to go to La Maison, you have to go to the one over by the Louvre, not the one on the other side, because I went to a different one and I was just blown away. And he's like, no, man, you got to go check out
the real one. Yeah.
There's a picture on my Instagram of their whiskey cellar that,
it was beautiful, man.
Stone roof, beautifully lit. It was
unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So yeah,
I wish it was in Montreal. Montreal, you need to get a version of this. I'm not gonna lie,
brother. I thought about you when I was there because I was like, being the kind of guy you are, and some of the stuff you had. This is the place for you guys. If you ever go to Paris, man, check it out. You will not be disappointed. you'll be like a kid in a damn candy store there.
We need to get these guys to do something in Montreal, man, because I have been to Montreal, luckily, a couple times, and man, it is really nice. And if I had a place to go like that to look at some whiskey, I'd be there tomorrow. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I do, you know, I had the chance a couple of years back to go to the Whiskey Exchange in London, and like that was really, really impressive. This place, you know, right there with them. I mean, both of them are just stellar whiskey stores. I mean,
Wow.
you know, you might as well mortgage your life to go there, because it's like,
I think the only equivalent would be maybe like Cadence Heads in Scotland, right?
yeah, probably something like that. I don't even know.
Have you ever been to
All
Scotland
in all,
before?
it was great, and you know, I do have pictures up as well on Instagram of the whiskey tasting that Greg's Whiskey Guide put together. It was super cool to hang out with him, and boy, does that guy have a hell of a collection. I tasted some stuff that, you know, I never would have before. He sent me home with 4 simples, which I can tell you about. So one of them here, this is a Kleinleash, into a Cadenhead's Kleinleash 15-year-old. Sent me home with a Yoichi 19-year-old.
Oh man,
single cask.
Yoichi is like great Japanese whiskey. Yeah. That's awesome.
Dude, the amount of Yoichi single casks they had at La Maison would blow your mind. Glenmoray 2010 peated cask PX, and a Springbank 9-year-old Gaja Barolo 54.7. Awesome stuff. Yeah,
I can imagine, man.
But that Bunnahabhain, man, I don't know what to tell you about that, dude. That was like
good. Hopefully,
unreal. The Port Ellen and the Bunnahabhain were just.
Yeah, the Port Ellen, I can imagine. I've been lucky enough to have 1 or 2 samples of some old like 70s Port Ellen, man. It's like, it's almost like you feel like you've already died and you've gone to heaven, in whiskey heaven. You're actually able to drink what you want. It's how good it is. It's crazy good. Did you like the Port Ellen a lot better than other whiskeys?
The Port Ellen, the Bunnahabhain, and there was one other one that was really amazing. You know what? Here, just give me a second. I don't want to belabor this too much because I know we got another whiskey to do. But let me just, you know, and again, you can see pictures of all this on my Instagram, Malt User Whiskey, but I do just want to, I'll just share a little bit of some of the stuff that we had. So, you know, maybe you can see this, but here's Greg and I, you know, doing his tasting. So he gave me a bunch of different French whiskeys. So the Gaja Barolo 9-year-old Springbank, the McCallup's Choice Independent Bottling Port Ellen 1979, Yoichi 12-year-old, a Yoichi single cask 1988, Adelphi 1968 41-year-old.
What? Hold on, you had an Adelphi from 1968?
Yeah, he does. This is the Bunnahabhain 41 Adelphi.
Oh, you bitch!
Yeah.
I would kill to taste an Adelphi from that year, and especially a Bunnahabhain. Oh my god!
You would have loved this one too. This is the one that came close to third. Gordon and MacPhail Rosebank 1991. This was an 18-year-old.
18-year-old Rosebank?
Yeah,
dude. Oh my god!
Don't play, man. Greg, don't play.
Greg, if you ever come to Maryland, you gotta let me know, dude. Because I mean, I might not have that quality caliber, but I'll try to find it if I can. Oh my, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it was a really just amazing opportunity, you know. And again, this comes to like the bigger point here, which is that, you know, the whiskey community, whether you're a YouTuber making content or enjoying content, you know, make those relationships with folks. You meet so many good people, and like, dude, you know, I was supposed to go to Belgium. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it.
Oh man!
And I was going to go meet up with somebody there who's a fan too. And it was like, you know, we were going to go get beers and all this. And it's just great. You know, you have the opportunity to go meet folks. And, you know, Greg, again, absolutely stellar dude, and really, really showed me a great time in Paris. So that was cool.
I can only imagine, man. If I ever get that way, I'll definitely have to give you guys a shout out if I ever do. But
for sure.
Hopefully, my plan is to hopefully get to Scotland someday. I've never been able to go. Have you ever been to Scotland before, by chance?
I've not. I've been to the UK twice, but I've been everywhere but Scotland. So the next time I go, it's Scotland.
I was so close. I've been to Belfast before, but I've never been to that's the only part of the UK I've ever been. I've never been to the other 3 state. I don't, what do you call them? I guess they're countries actually. The
Right.
England, Wales, and Scotland. I'm missing, so I've got to get over there at some point.
Yeah, I've been to London twice, and then I've been to Dublin and around Dublin. But yeah, not Scotland, but it's on the list. So before we get into this next whiskey telex, I need to take 5 to
Sure.
go take a quig, and I'll hand things over to you just for a minute, and I'll be right back.
No problem, man. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys about the when I went to. I was lucky enough to have my honeymoon over in Dublin, and we went over there. I got married in 2007, and so this is right like after the Troubles is what they all called it over there ended, but not quite ended. It was like one of these like understandable like stalemates, I guess you could say. So when I was over in Dublin, we took a train and we rode up to Belfast, and which, if you don't know, that's Northern Ireland. It's a whole different country. It's Great Britain basically. So when you go across the border and you get over to Stormfront and some of these areas in Belfast, man, it's a completely different thing where they have got peace gates and armed guards, and the gates close at 6 p.m. and if you're not in the gate, you got problems and things like that. So it was kind of a mind-opening experience as an American going over and seeing how people are treated, whether it's religious issues or whatever it may be. It's really wild. I got to see the headquarters of Sinn Féin and things like that. So it was very very a good teaching experience almost. I wish I knew about whiskey at the time. I was not drinking whiskey much at all. I was drinking a lot of Guinness at the time. I did go to the Guinness distillery and went to the Gravity Bar, had a great dram, had the North Star release, which was their third. They had a Brew 59 or Brew 54, I think, was one of their first two-can brews. They had a couple special releases. And then all of a sudden they had this North Star when I was there. Smoothest beer I've ever had. It was so good. I could drink 1,000 pints of that and be fine. and when I got back to the States, it was so good. I was trying to find any way of getting my hands on this North Star brew. It just does not exist. So luckily I kept some mementos back from Ireland from then. And so at least I got a memory out of it. But yeah, I'm hoping it might not be anywhere, soon, but at some point, maybe in the next few years, it'd be cool to be able to get over to Scotland. That's for sure.
Oh yeah,
what's up, Malt?
Definitely. What's up? I would mention the other. I was in Turkey a couple of years ago, and
man, I commend you for, because I mean, I'd love to go. I would be extremely nervous as an American being in Turkey right now.
I mean, the political situation was a little gnarly there, but it was still a great experience. And despite being a predominantly Muslim country, they did have a good amount of alcohol. I went to a couple of bars there that had,
oh wow,
it was the first time I tried Johnny Walker Blue. They had it. It was like $13 a glass. I mean, the only expensive things in Turkey, for U.S. folks, it's like they tax the alcohol a bit more because they're
but I mean, for you to get a $13 blue glass, man, is insane. Especially in a country like Turkey. That's just right. That in itself is almost like miraculous.
Yeah. I went to a couple of places there that they had really good whiskey selections, but I didn't find it. They didn't have the whiskey shops like they do in Western Europe and stuff like that. But
I would love to go there because I like to play lots of instruments. If you guys don't know, they're really into music. And in Turkey, they've got the oud. If you know what the oud is, the OUD, they've got this instrument called a hink, and it's like a fretless oud. It's really cool, and you could fly on this thing. And I mean, it's meant for non-Western music, but if you know what you're doing, man, it's a beautiful sound. So look up AHENK.
For like nothing, man. You can eat like a damn king. You want to eat the Turks don't fuck around when it comes to food, and my God, you just the most amazing Mediterranean food. Like I had banquets for like $30. It was crazy. I was eating that's unbelievable amount of food. But anyway,
they had the best lamb and best everything over there, man. Oh,
bro.
I can imagine this. The spice enough would be enough for the price of admission. I love the spice, man.
Yeah, and so speaking of killer, we have been kind of presenting a bit here about Benriach, and we were talking a bit about the Rachel Berry eaters, and you showed the 10, and this is kind of what the Benriachs look like these days. So much like the Curiositas, which was referenced a lot, what we got here for our second tasting is the Benriach Septendecim. Back in the day, they had all these different names on it. This is a 17-year-old Benriach. This is non-chill filtered natural color, says here right here on the label. It is,
and that's what we love to see.
that's right. This is from the Billy Walker years, who is now running Glenallachie. But this one in particular is bottled at 46%. Yeah, I said non-chill filled natural colored. It is a peated malt. It says here right here on the label. So this is a peated Benriach. Yeah, and non-chill filled natural colored right here on the label here as well. And yeah, these are from the Billy Walker years. So this is not a whiskey you can find easily anymore, but you can find it. I do have a couple other that I just want to show as a point of comparison. So I have another from the Billy Walker years. This is
I swear to God, if you bring out the Solstice, man, I'm gonna be pissed. I got the Solstice.
This is the Benriach Solstice 17-year-old. This is also a peated. It's also 17 years old. This one's 50%. However, this is a port pipe. This Benriach Septendecim is all ex-bourbon. So this is a port finished.
That's also a glorious whiskey. Have you ever had that one before, man?
No, but I'm going to.
Dude, when you open that one, be prepared to like sit and just soak it all in, because that is one of the best. That is one of the best Benriachs I've ever had.
Well, once it gets opened, samples will be had. So the last one I want to just show again, and this is just a point of comparison of like what they used to look at. So this is a single cask 1994 peated Benriach. This one is bottled at it's a sherry, or no, it's a regular hogshead, 19 years old.
Dude, hold on. You've got a Benriach 1994 peated that's 19 years old?
Yeah.
Dude. You're torturing me. That's when I graduated from high school, dude. Come on.
Well, once this gets open, man, it'll be coming your way. So I have a lot. The interesting thing here is like, this is a Speyside whiskey, but I've clearly gravitated towards the peated element of these. So I don't know a lot about their other ones, but
you're getting the perfect. If you can get any peated whiskey that's not Islay, right, and you get the classics, you're going the right direction, man. Definitely.
Yeah, so I've been able to, grab a couple Benriachs here and there. And so the one we're going to talk about tonight is Septendecim. So let me just give you a little bit of background here. Unusual for a Speyside distillery, we distill with both styles of malted barley, non-peated and peated, enabling us to capture the definitive flavor and aroma of peat reek in a few of our special bottlings. Septendecim is one of those. In fact, the Benriach series is a return to the original Speyside character and flavor malts typical of the 19th century. So that's what they're going for here. It's a throwback to some other era. This gold writing is really hard to read, but basically what we're looking at here is what I can only assume is an ex-bourbon cask, because it doesn't really say otherwise. But if you look at the color, and it is a natural color, and it is non-chill filtered, maybe some sherry. I don't know.
No, you're right. It's supposedly it's a straightforward ex-bourbon, but just a very old ex-bourbon peated dram, man.
So I will mention, price-wise, strangely enough, you can still find these somewhere right around $120, $130. So a good price for a good whiskey, I would say. Again, Speyside, non-chill natural, and peated 46%. Everything you want to see in a whiskey. And with that, I will hand things over to Telex. Have you had this one before?
I have been lucky enough to have it before, but it's been many years. And but this is a great. Like, I'm so glad that we looked at the new, something from Rachel Berry, and we're also looking for something classic from Billy Walker. Now, I do think that Rachel Berry has stepped up when it comes to like the basic tin. I've heard reviews of the new tin being better, and obviously she did a good job with this new smoky tin, even though it might not please all the peat heads with the purity, with the extra, we love the casks that are being done with this. Now with this is going to be, I think, from what I remember, a really well done whiskey, and for that price point, oh my goodness, I won't say anything yet because it's been a while, but the first thing I noticed, just after I've been letting it sit out for a good 18 minutes already.
Yeah, I've had mine out for quite a while here too. I
And
do want to just draw attention to Andrew Page's comment. He says this is one of his favorite non-Isla peated scotches. Got a couple bottles. He's pouring his last ounce right now. So very cool. Brad, you can join us with this.
We're honored for you pouring the last of that, man. That's we need Telex parody of Aquavitae, how to pronounce whiskey names. I try to do it justice. It's not the easiest thing, but I'm thinking that's why he said that. I'm not sure. But the first thing I noticed when I poured this out, honestly, was I always like to give it a little swish around the rim to see how well it holds up the legs and how
definitely.
that line goes around. It's intact. It is noticeably holds, even at the same ABV. The age, I think, helps with the viscosity even with this. This is also 46%, right? Yeah.
This is 46%, correct.
Oh, man. The funny thing is, on the first initial note you get to me is, yes, it's a more subtle peat even than the smoky tint, but it's a more of an antique, danky peat. It's noticeable from the get-go. The first note I get, and along with some really intriguing notes that you wouldn't normally get. It's got a nice herbal feel to it. I get mint and I get pine needles off the top.
Dude, you're totally right on that, man. Yeah, I'm thinking, I mean, again, we're comparing it to a 10-year-old Smoky 10, but the step back of the heavy cask notes to a much more raw elemental like barley forward note is very palpable on this.
Do you get the age off the nose? I mean, I definitely get the age off this nose. It's something about it.
It smells old. It has a little bit of that Dunnage Warehouse kind of note to it. I'm not clear whether or not Benriach does Dunnage Warehouse maturation or not, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did. There's a funk. It's like a mustiness. There's a mustiness, but then there's also like a liveliness to this sweet, very much like barley forward. There's a lot of fruit, a lot of action in this one.
Oh, the fruits are like, it's like almost like a medium orchard level fruit I get from this.
Orchard, you hit the nail on the head.
Like you get your apples, you got your pears.
Yep.
You also got some there's something else in this. I'm trying to put my finger on it.
Cherry. Not cherry, raspberry. It's more like a raspberry thing.
There is a fruit, something, and it's interesting that this has got this fruit character with it being straightforward ex-bourbon, because it makes you feel like there might be some sort of sherry-esque note in there, but I think it's from the age. I think the reason why we're getting that old fruit feel, the deep rooted fruits, is because of the age of the whiskey. The wood is there, but I love the fact it's not in your face like some of these younger whiskeys are.
Not at all. I mean, the wood, that sharp wood note is way in the back.
Let's see if I can get anything else before I go in for a taste. But man, it's definitely a lot more refined as far as versus the 10 that we just had.
Instant.
There's spice in there too. I'm getting kind of a spicy note. It's not a cinnamon. It's like a
yeah. It's allspice.
Yeah, it's like a Chinese
or like chai.
Yeah, Chinese allspice chai kind of a note, like a deep earthy spice.
Winston, get down from there. Hang on.
But it's not in your face. This what's great about this whiskey to me is as well is that all the notes we get, even though it's more complex, none of them are like overpowering the other note.
Definitely, man. I absolutely love the nose on this. It's spice and fruit in complete balance. If anything, the spice is a little bit more dominant, but it's all the right notes. It's like a nice tea, a nice like
ooh.
You know, there's a clove element to it.
Yeah, it's changing. It's like some of the vanilla and some of the more creamier aspects are coming through now on the nose. That's wild. That's just by like giving it time to air out and come back and cover and get a fresh nose off of it. Yeah, it's got this like creamy vanilla, almost milky. Kind of it's kind of it's funny, like at first you don't get any sweetness in the nose at all, really. It's more spicy. It's got some fruit, but it's very danky and stuff, and then over time, if you give it time, it definitely comes through, and it has more of a sweeter milky vanilla kind of a nose too.
Yeah. How about honey?
Like a nougat? It's got like a nougat nose.
Do you get like a sharp dank honey? A little bit of a honey note.
Oh yeah. It almost reminds me. It's not as intense as a Beto honey by any means, but it's got that kind of nougaty slash honey sweetness going on in the background. And for a 17-year-old whiskey to still have that says something to me, because you usually don't get that.
It has a really nice combination of age yet vibrancy. Again, that chai note, and I hate to say it, very akin in some ways to pumpkin spice. For all my basic bitches out there. No, I'm just which I'll raise my hand. I don't know why. It doesn't have the pumpkin element, but everything else of that pumpkin spice is working in this.
And even though I love the taste of whiskey, of course, this is one of those whiskeys you can nose for a good like 20-30 minutes and still be completely happy. You don't even have to taste it. That's how good of a nose this one has to me.
Telex, you speak truth. Let's dive in.
Sláinte, thanks so much for the pour, man. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Ooh. That is so well rounded. Still has intensity even for its age.
It's peatier than the 10.
Yeah.
Somehow. Boy, does that got some pop.
It's got a bite to it, but it's not its bite is not a young bite. It's got an old aggressive kind of an earthier bite to it. It's weird.
Dude, the palate is so bizarre.
Ooh, that finish is awesome. Damn.
So good. So good. You got that late surge?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden it was like, oh, where'd that come from?
That just hit me, man. Really oh, wow.
There's something like, it's like, you know what I mean? It kind of,
it's got this thing that you're doing great, and you're like, okay, I'm coming down, and then it's like, whoa.
In the development, it gets a little bit empty for a second. You're like, huh? And then all of a sudden, it's like, wham!
It's like a great piece of good quality gum. It's like you chew it, you get that initial hit, and then all of a sudden, if it's a good quality, man, then it just bursts into flavor afterward. Wow. The peat's funny on this one because I don't get like a lot from the get-go, even though I know it's there. I get it more in the finish than I do anything else.
Way on the back end of the development. And the thing that's interesting about this is like, the peat is sneaky. It hits on the back and then it blends like the peat and this kind of it's almost again chai tea, coffee, honey kind of. You said milky before, which was just so spot on, like a creaminess.
It's got like a nougat, like a Three Musketeers without the chocolate kind of thing.
100%. It all kind of comes together on this finish, which just, you get these like, it's like somebody's like hitting a valve that's just pumping flavor up. You get like 2 or 3 surges of flavor on the finish here.
Do you get any almonds on the finish?
Oh, big time, big time. I mean, I can... I literally can taste it on the tip of my tongue. Really interesting whiskey, you guys.
It's really not dark chocolate, but it's got this like almost like middle milk chocolate thing going on in the finish too. It seems like. Oh my God, this is such a great whiskey. It's crazy, dude. I mean, I love the Solstice too, and it's probably even a step. Believe it or not, it's probably even a step above this one. But this one, man, kicks ass when it comes
it
to
really does. This
old
really does.
peated whiskeys. That, I mean, this could actually definitely stand up for all you Lagavulin fans out there. Lagavulin 16 is a great whiskey. This one has got this like salted. It's like the finish even has like a salted pretzel chocolatey finish to it. It's weird.
Totally. The only thing that's different is it doesn't have the maritime. But you're 100% right of the saltiness. The like it's drying, but it's not tannic. It's like you ate something salty. You hit the nail on the head with that one.
Yeah, this has no maritime stuff going on. There's no seashells, but it does have like a little subtle salted pretzel, middle like milk chocolate, like a if you ever had Pocky from Japan, like Pocky with salt on it, dude. It's got that kind of a finish. It's crazy.
Man, that's good.
This is so good. I mean, for me to find a whiskey that I can nose forever and be completely happy along with the taste, that speaks volumes to itself, because it doesn't happen for me very often for me to get into the nose as much as I do in this whiskey.
This is a good one, man.
Oh God, I would put this up with the classics, man.
Dude, I'm not lying. You're hitting the nail on the head. When I first opened this, I'll save that for my final thoughts. I'll wait. I'm about that far down.
It's awesome because it gets better and better with time too. You could pour it out, even though I already let it sit out for 17, 20 minutes. And then after enjoying it, and then coming back, even I still get even more stuff.
That's how complex it is. When Telex and I have a good whiskey, when our notes are just all over the board because we're just overwhelmed. We're just like, oh my God, and this. Like, this is one of those whiskeys that you're like, I mean, look, their presentation ain't exactly that great from these old bottles. I mean, even their new one, but like, this doesn't look, I mean, it's kind of, it's not a great presentation. They look, I don't know if it looks cheap, but maybe a little bit on the cheap side. Maybe I'm wrong. It's not, look, Benriach is not a distillery that I think, a lot of folks are like gravitating towards, but boy, I'll tell you, even with the new ownership, Smoky 10, which we just had, I mean, both of these are just the contrast, the variety, the range of whiskey you're getting here at a quality level that I think is superb, is really good.
This is a whiskey that's beautiful. I mean, absolutely beautiful, neat. I would have had and just poured a couple more.
To do water on this too. Yeah,
I just dropped 1 or 2 drops of water on it just to see what happens. Definitely don't over dilute, but man, out of the gate, neat. Holy wow! I don't have much bad negative things to say at all on this whiskey. Let's see how it handles the water, man. Oh, is this your first Septendecim? Have you had it before?
First one. Yeah.
Man, you've definitely made me want my own bottle of this. That's how good this is, dude. I mean, I might have to go. I mean, especially for how much did you say you could still find this for? 130.
You know what? Hold that thought. Let me take a look.
If you don't mind, take a look. Because if it's 130, dude, I will buy a bottle tonight. That's how good this is. At 150, I would still even buy it. I mean, 17 years.
Well, so there are a few places in New York, and if you're going to be able to get it sent to you, you're looking at about 150 to 175. There's a place in Delaware called fruitbat.com, which has got it for $1.75. I know they ship. I don't know much about that. I've never ordered from them.
I wonder if you can like go there. Like, I drive to Delaware all the time for fun. I wonder if I could just go there and pick it up.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those that honestly, I mean, I bought this along with that 1994 and the Solstice on secondary market. I mean, I bought these in secondary market, and I paid well under. I mean, I maybe paid $1.20 for this.
Dude, that's a fucking steal. 120 for this, man. I mean,
the nose is still really beguiling. I've said beguiling twice.
I get even more nougat on the nose with the water, dude. More of the fruits, the nougat.
I love it, dude. Alex is hype. Let's get it.
The fruit's even standing out more. The peat's still there with the water. I mean, damn. God, I love this dram. it's been a while since I've had the Solstice. I remember the Solstice being one of the best ever. This could really hang with it, man. I mean, I'm really curious to see what you think.
$1.40 in Connecticut total wine, or
If they
toast
ship
wine.
to you, yeah, I'll have to. The Connecticut shipping, the Maryland shipping in sometimes is really weird because we have county laws here where every county has its own jurisdiction over alcohol deal. It's really bizarre. I'll have to take. I'm glad you mentioned that, Andrew. I'll take that into account because, man, this is so damn good. If I never go to Connecticut hardly. I've been there a couple of times, but if ever I'm in Connecticut, I will fucking drive definitely there first to get this bottle. That's how good it is. Man. I love the age on this, but I mean, it's really hard to find a well done peated aged whiskey. It really is.
For real. Are you getting any brown sugar on this?
Mm-hmm.
Like a nice dark brown sugar note? Man.
Yeah, the water gives it more of almost like a darkness to the spice. I guess it raises the spice level of that dark brown sugar up. That allspice is still there, but it's even more earthy with the water.
Yeah, it's more also the chai has given way to a more allspice, clove, kind of mulled wine spices.
You nailed it, man. That's dead on. Damn.
Well, I mean,
I better have a taste, I guess.
Do it.
Now, I love peat. There are some drams that I have that are just straight peat, and that's it. And I do sometimes enjoy them, but man, for this to be an ex-bourbon straightforward peated dram, which I usually don't gravitate towards, that has no cask maturation influence at all, and I'm savoring the sample so much. I've poured it like 3 times, and I still have this much left. That's how good this fucking is, dude. I will make this into a 6 dram sampler if that kills me.
There you go. Are you getting any spearmint on the end of this?
Yes. Dude. It's got spearmint gum even on the finish. This is insane.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. I need a break.
Telex going to mic drop us all.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. And this usually does not happen unless it's got if it's the Kilchoman red wine cask matured. I remember falling in love with that one. I remember loving some of these unless it's got other cask mature maturation deals, but this needs nothing. It needs no help.
Yeah.
It doesn't need water, but it's still good with it. Oh my! What do you think about the finish? Do you like the finish after the water?
I'm enjoying every second of the finish of this. This is. I don't
still
know
getting spice even on the finish. It's like a cedary wood kind of a finish too. Sandalwood kind of thing. Wow.
Sandalwood, exactly, like a little bit of like a Mizunara. I don't know. I mean, we're all over the board here because it's just that.
It's so good. I can't decide if I like it neat or with water, or if it's the same. It's almost like this. It's just as good, just different with the water.
Yeah.
I'm going back neat just to see. God, I hate to fanboy over the malt like this, but man, it's one of those rare occurrences where you see an ex-bourbon, good age, no chill filtration, no coloring bullshit on the label. Yep. Done exactly the way whiskey is supposed to be done.
Yep.
And with peat, that's not Isla. That's like the miraculous thing about it too.
Exactly. And 46%. So it's on both the label and on the tube label, which I'm a big fan of.
That's what we want to see, guys. If any distillery ever listens to us at any point, please, no chill filtration, no coloring. Give us a decent ABV above 43% if you can possibly give us 46. And if you can give us age, we'll take that too. If you want to give us 10, we'll take it. If you want to give us 20, 25, 30, we'll take it too. But man, this is it checks all the boxes.
I'm with you on that. Final thoughts go your way, Telex. I mean, you've probably already put the superlative exclamation points on your final thought, but feel free to throw it down, man.
Man. like I said, so rare to find a straightforward, well done ex bourbon cask. And the funny thing about it is the even though it's ex bourbon, and it's got strength. It doesn't feel like first fill in your face. It feels very
Compare this
refined.
to the Laphroaig 16. I mean, this blows.
Dude, this beats the shit. I mean, this fucking beats the shit. I'm a huge Laphroaig fan. Don't think that I'm not a loyal Laphroaig fan. I love them, but their regular 16 does not even hold a candle to that Septendism, dude. Not even close. It's like it's night and day difference quality wise, dude. And I love me some Laphroaig, but this is like step beyond Laphroaig.
Well beyond it. Well beyond it.
I mean, even though this is only 1 year, in relation to that 16 that they just released, the feel of this is like twice as old to me. The age and the wood alone is so much better with this than it is that 16 from Laphroaig to me.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Oh my god. I don't see how Billy Walker does it, man, but he's a fucking genius. He really is.
For sure. There's no.
I mean, she was a genius on this first one. I have to agree that the way she does the maturation on the 10 is not spotty. I mean, and she has she's lifted up the core range, but as far as the ability to do a well-aged whiskey the right way, Billy Walker's no fucking slouch, man.
Nope.
Wow, this
man, dude. I mean, this is just what it is. And I gotta just shout out really quick, man, Andrew Page. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it, man. You are awesome. It's picture day and the wife's out of town. He says,
yeah, good luck with that, man. I know how that goes. I got a 12-year-old daughter.
Do your thing. And Andrew Page, again, thank you for the support on Patreon, and thank you just always for the continued support, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. Telex, I'm going to kick it to you, man. For this is my pour. This is your final thoughts. Where do you go, brother?
It's so enjoyable. I'm going to pour me yet another dram.
Yeah.
This is how good this shit is. It's like the last one, but man, I'm gonna fucking soak every drop out of this.
I still got half a bottle. I could get you one more, man. I got one more here for you.
Oh, look at this.
I'm waiting. Your hype, your excitement makes me want to get you another one.
I'm waiting for the drop on this last little drop out of this bottle, man. This is so damn good. Like I said, I'm not going to go into all the stuff that I've been going on and on about, but man, I don't see how this could be even remotely classified as an average dram. So we're well above 3. This is better than a lot of 4-star drams I've had, which are they're quality. They make the distillery look great as a 4-star dram, but this is better than that. This is better than a lot of drams I've had. And this is I hate to say it, but this to me is at the Bruichladdich level of black arts. 23 years of age, 26 years of age, and this being a 17 years, even though it's a bit different, I don't get the difference of the age. I mean, the age here feels a lot older than a 17-year to me. This to me tastes like a 21-year whiskey. It really does.
Yeah.
With that said, man, with the dankiness, the funky but yet great fruit, great mint, herbal notes, pine needles, pine nuts, fucking. I mean, it's got the peat still there, even though it's not in your face as much. It's still great. I get it on the nose and the palate. Love the water. Love the not water. I love it neat. Love the finish with and without water. This is a 475 dram, man. 475 every fucking day.
My man.
Yo. And the only reason I say that is the Solstice might be a 5-star dram, but we'll have to see what Malt thinks of that later when he opens it.
Yeah. Well, and I got to do that 1994 still too.
Oh, and that one's probably, I mean, I can't even rate something like that. That's going to be probably a 5.5-star dram.
Yeah, we're going to find out. So we got 475 out of Telex. I'm
sorry to hype this one, man, but this one, if you want to say bullish, dude, I will fucking stand up for this dram. For anyone everywhere, non-peat fans, peat fans, sherry fans, fuck you. We don't need sherry here. We've got ex-bourbon in your face. I love sherry, but it doesn't need it. This is the dram that proves that you don't need it, man.
I'm going to put myself on mute. Just let you go, brother. Yo, I'm right here with Telex. I'll be honest. I haven't had a sip of this in probably 2 months, and the difference between it, how it's tasting now, and the last time I had it, it's only gotten better. And I mean in every way. The dynamism, the range that this whiskey has, what it's bringing to the table. Again, for next bourbon cask, it's near perfect for a bourbon cask peated whiskey. It really is. The peat punch is there. I mean, what we gave good scores to that Benriach 10. I mean, like, I'm looking back now and I'm like, holy shit. This whiskey absolutely stuns. If you like a bourbon peated cask whiskey, or a peated bourbon cask whiskey, seriously, this is, I mean, you see it at places. If you find this for $200, I'm not even going to lie, I would probably grab another. It's that good. It makes me want to go back and get some of the older, the 21, 25s, but I feel like there's a sweet spot that this whiskey is just nailing. The fruit element that comes through, the richness of the cask, yet the dried spice fruit, which is showing its age. This is a high quality whiskey, bar none, and I would put this up against basically anything peated in this range. I'm as bullish on this as Telex. I'm going to go 4.5 on this. I mean, I think this is right there. There are few whiskeys that I think at the price range, and again, even at the inflated price range of the fact that this is no longer something you can find, this is stellar stuff, man. Benriach, if you haven't, you gotta. That's all I can say, man. If you can find some of the older bottlings, and again, and I just want to share this with folks. Here's how you'll know. If you see bottlings with not just Benriach 10, but Benriach 10 with a funky name you can hardly pronounce next to it, or a 15 or a 21. I mean, they go around the names on some of these. I mean, Septon Decim, like, who the hell? I had to watch like 3 videos to know how to pronounce. I'm like, is it Septendecim? Like, how do you even say this?
It's just Latin, man.
Yeah, but like, look, whatever they were doing right. This whiskey wasn't discontinued all that long ago. I do got to say straight up, this is a fucking great whiskey. I'm 4.5 on this. Bullish. Buy it. If you see it, buy it. I don't know if I'd go over 200, but like,
200 all day for me on this one. Yeah.
This is that good. And even if you open it and you're not blown away right away, which is, I mean, I really enjoyed it when I opened it, but let me tell you, oxygen has worked wonders on this. I'm going to gas this whiskey after opening this because
you don't want that to fall, man.
Not here that like, I could drink this all night long and never get bored. It's that good. So 4.75 from Telex, 4.5 from me, and then on the Smoky 10, we got 3 5s across the board. High praise for Benriach from Telex and I again, a distillery that you don't always reach for, but boy, they're a little confusing. They're a little bit inaccessible. They know what's up. There's some damn good spirit here.
Has anyone ever been lucky enough to have the Authenticus, the 25-year peated version of this? Because, man, I mean, I know it's expensive as hell, and I'm usually not the one to drop a dime like that on something that's I don't know anything about. But for this to be this good at 17 and to see this at a 25-year level, could you imagine how good that could be?
Yeah, I'm looking right now just to get a sense. I mean, $400 for the 35 or for the 25. I don't know if it's the old one or not, though.
Yeah, make sure it's the authentic. It's called the Authenticus. It's AUTHENTICUS.
Yeah,
that's the old peated version of the 25. They had when Billy was there.
They have a 30-year-old Authenticus too.
Oh wow, man!
The 25 Authenticus. Kendall Fine Wines, and Mission Wine and Spirits, which sadly doesn't ship, but Kendall Fine Wines might. They're out of Miami, $400.
Oh man, in Miami, Florida.
Yeah,
I might have to drive to Florida too. Seriously,
dude.
Oh,
Telex and Malt road trip. We're gonna just drink our way to Florida to go get a 25-year-old Benriach.
how fucking cool would that be if we could just take off from our jobs and just go drive down to Florida, sip some whiskey on the way. No, we're not gonna drink and drive, but we'll drive then drink, drive then drink, drive then drink our way down there.
Exactly.
And we get down there and get our hands on a 25-year-old of this kind of stuff, man. Could you imagine how good that might be?
But listen to this, man. Even this Authenticus 600, but it's all around New York and California. I think Cohen, our friend who lives in California, who can go to Mission Wine and Spirits.
Cohen, please
be our mule on this one. Bro.
Let me know if you've ever had that 25 Authenticus, and if you've had, man, let us know if this is as good as this 7th Dism. Because if it is, man, for $400 or $500, dude, I would jump on that all day.
Yeah, this is a damn good whiskey,
and I will get it for both of us if I have to. I mean, that's just insanely good. I can't imagine. I've heard of it. I've seen it rarely, but man, I wish I took the chance when I saw it initially, because it's also 46% at 25 years. How great is that shit?
And they have a 30-year-old, man. There's a 30-year-old.
I'm afraid we'll see what the price is on that, though. It's probably got to be in the thousands at this point.
No,
man.
It's only. There's a place called Rybrook Wine and Spirits in New York. Sadly, they won't ship. $549.
Ooh, fuck Florida. We're going to New York, baby.
All right, we'll pay for Telex's gas. He's got to go get 3 bottles.
I got to go to New York, and that's a short drive from here. I'll drive to New York all day for a 30-year Benriach for 500 if it tastes anywhere remotely close to this one. I gotta do some research on that, man, because that is insane. Yeah. Oh my god! I know their new 30 doesn't do very well in from what I've seen in reviews, but man, if the old 30 is 4.46 across the board, it looks like 46% ABV, and it's still peated. Oh my god! I'm just looking real quickly at a few reviews. Man, these guys are really picky, and they give them 4.25s. I think that it might be worth the trip to New York, man, really.
Yeah.
Send me an email if you don't mind with the place that has one of these 30-year-olds in New York, and I might actually take you up on that, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, I will. This is absolutely killer, man. So, yeah, so we got 3 5s across the board on Benriach 10, Smoky 10. And 47545 from Telex and I on the Benriach 17 Septon Decim. Dude, don't sleep on Benriach, y'all. That's what we got.
I wouldn't. I'd love to see. I wonder why. I know her 20. The new. That's funny.
Stephen Connor.
The new 25 from Rachel Berry doesn't do that well, but
Andrew Page says Drink and Drive could be a Netflix series. Gary says just found the Septon Decim 17 for $130. Of course,
that's a no-brainer there, man. Send that to me. Send it to me at telex@outlook.com. I will jump all over it if they ship to Maryland.
Yeah, if not, throw that shit in the FedEx box. Maybe somehow, allegedly, maybe it'll get here somehow.
Her new 25 is doing well. Her new 30 is not doing as well as I'd hope from what I've seen on some reviews. So if I could find the new 25 at a reasonable price, I might jump on that as well, since she did well with the Smoky 10. To see what she can do with the 25 might be worth price of admission. We'll have to see,
Real talk.
On that one. Have you seen any of the new old stuff before?
No.
But you do have the 94, man. I'd love to see what that 94 does. That's going to be crazy, dude.
I would too. But I'm going to tell you right now, Telex, I am going to open this La Maison du Whisky Benriach 2009 12-year-old peated port pipe to close things out. So, I mean, I know you don't have this one, but I'm gonna do a little impromptu tasting of this right now.
That sounds good, man. I don't blame you. If I had it, I would.
And I'll let you know. You'll definitely get a sample of it, so you don't need to worry about that.
Man.
But I'm going to pour some of this bad boy right now because
Tell me what you think about this.
I am feeling the Benriach love right now. This distillery needs more attention from. Well, no, it doesn't. It needs less, so we can get it cheap.
Exactly. It's like, well, we want to give it praise, but we don't want it to be explosive praise.
There's the color on that. That's a natural color. This is 59.8% Beauteous Maximus port pipe, 12 years old.
Oh man, I'd love to see how that stands up against the Atma, man. This Atma was no joke. It was good.
A lot of fruit, spice. Oh man, I'm just going in for a taste.
Does it hold well to the Atma? That is the catch. Does it have that port, grapey, deep? Ooh, here we go.
Oh,
does it have the earthiness
it's not
too?
Not decim. It's younger, but oh man, oh dude,
it's got the good strength where it needs to be strong.
Oh,
it's got the earthy
fruit. It's
fruit.
Not a professional tasting. I am just going to straight up go water now. But dude, this has
got a nice earthy fruit thing going on.
Oh yeah, rich flavor here. Rich flavor. Ooh.
Oh man. At 50-something point, yeah, that's pretty hot, but it probably doesn't feel very hot.
Oranges. Ooh wee. Ooh.
Does it feel as hot as the ABV sounds? 58 is pretty high, man. Does it feel that hot, or is it a little?
Well, it was a little hot, but it's not. It's more spicy than hot, which is a good sign.
Gotcha.
It's not nearly as like overpoweringly spicy as you would expect. This is incredibly well-rounded for a 12-year-old. A lot of oranges, chocolate with water. Yeah, you got to get some of this, man. I'm gonna get you a sample of this. This is killer.
Sounds like you like it. Is it? Do you remember the Atma? Is it like on par with that? Better?
I feel like. Oh.
He's having second thoughts. He's like, I'm not quite sure. You might have to pour a little bit of that Atma to see what the
all right.
comparison is.
All right.
Sorry, just a little, like a smidgen pour, like a baby pour.
A little taste. You asked me if I had some Atma. I got some.
Oh, dude, I cleaned mine out like a month ago. I love that stuff, man. That's awesome.
Let me do it. So this Atma is also port pipe. This one. Obviously, the age is different. It's 7 years, but given the fact that it's in India, it's like 20 years. Who fucking knows?
What's the ABV on that Atma again?
56
versus 58. Thankfully, it's pretty close on.
So this is the Atma. This is the Benriach.
Very comparable. Wow, man. Yeah. That's almost like the same.
So the Atma has a funk note to it. That's that it's that Indian whiskey thing. Hang on.
I do like that funkiness. Does it have the fruity, earthy profile, though? I mean, that's the thing.
Oh.
It's hard to compare, isn't it?
Atma's the winner.
But barely.
The winner, but not by like a... Oh, yeah. Atma. Yeah.
Oh, it's a bit of a difference then?
Atma's like in that 4 or 5 range. This Benriach's in that like 3.7, 5 to 4 range. It's very good, but
it still sounds pretty damn good. What was the year on that one?
You're gonna get a sample, for sure. But the Atma just has a little bit more of a richness. Hang on, let me just go back to the Benriach.
What was the year on the Benriach version?
The Benriach is a 12.
And the Atma was a what? 7?
7, but it's India. Ooh,
true.
Actually,
that climate makes a huge difference on these two.
Oh, actually, hang on.
Here we go. He's having an internal battle. Sometimes youth can be good.
Is darker notes, richer, more chocolate, like dark chocolate. Benriach's more milk chocolate.
Okay.
Honestly, dude, my palate's kind of fucked here. I would just say I think the Atma has a little bit less. The Benriach is a little more sprightly.
Gotcha. That makes sense though because of the the
Yeah.
fact that the Indian climate is such a huge difference when it comes to the way they do their whiskey and then what they get out of it.
Yeah, but damn, it's still, yeah,
It's not bad at any means, I'm sure.
it's killing it. It's killing it. It's killing it. These are both really good. They're close. They're close. This Benriach is really tasty. I'm going to be really happy to send you a sample of it. You're going to enjoy it. But my palate is toast.
Oh man, I know how it goes. Especially when you get the chance to have all these great whiskeys. Man, it's crazy.
Yeah, and just so folks know, so a port pipe, in terms of the, it's weird, right? When you have like any other type of sherry, they're like butts or hogsheads or whatever. So a port pipe is 350 liters and a hogshead's like 300. So a little bit bigger of a barrel, but only port pipes. They're not like a pipe, right? Like a small thing. It's
a big pipe.
yeah.
It's a fat pipe.
It's some folks have big pipes. That's the way the port pipe works. So it's a little bit bigger. The Benriach tastes a slightly bit younger, even though the Atma is nominally only 7 years, but of course or the Atma's nominally 7 years, but it's of course India, and the elevation has a difference here. But yeah, this Benriach's fantastic. You're gonna love it.
I can imagine, man. With these the peated port pipe ones. I mean, the only one that was kind of a.
I don't want to say it was. I was like, I'm buying this peated port pipe. Are you kidding?
I don't want to say it was disappointing, but the only one that I ever had that was kind of rough was the Glendronach. Of all the ones I've ever had, the Glendronach peated port pipe took 45 minutes to open up. Have you ever had a whiskey like that where it took like godly amounts of time?
Honestly, it's tough to wait that long.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
because if you don't do it that way, you have to like force decant it, which is always kind of rough. But I had the same problem with the Kalila 17 unpeated, where I had to force decant it to be at that level that I wanted to be. But have you ever had a chance to have the Glendronach peated portwood by chance that you remember?
I'm not.
I hope you can get yourself a sample of it, because that would be worth to see what you think, because I'm curious to see how you would compare it to some of these really good ones that we've had recently with the Atma and this new Benriach, because I think you'll like the Benriach and the Atma a lot more than that Glendronach one even, but it's not really easy to find, but I think you can find a sample maybe somehow, possibly. If you know malt, please send them a sample of the peated portwood if you have the Glendronach.
Yeah.
I don't have that one, or I sent it to him myself, unfortunately. But because mine was also actually a sample, I didn't have a bottle of it. But I'm curious to see what you would think about that one comparatively.
I'm into it. All right, Telex. I am going to wrap things up here, but again, I do appreciate everybody hanging out. Telex and I are going to, I know, our weekly show is no longer going to be a thing, but, periodically it's going to be a surprise every week. I'm going to continue to my happy hour. Telex is going to be doing his thing, but, we're going to get together when we can and hopefully provide you guys with good whiskey content. I hope you guys enjoyed our show tonight. If you haven't yet, do send a subscription over to Telex The Whisky Tech channel. Of course, subscribe to Malt Muser. If you've not, I'll have a review dropping Friday. I will be back here next week for another happy hour show. But Telex, it's been great to catch up, man. And until next time, brother, Salanchava.
Yeah, definitely let me know if you're up for, we've got a couple of things we can still do. We got the Benriach and the Glenallachie and the Glen Grant as far as shows we can definitely do in the future. So we'll definitely be doing those in the near future. And if I can find an easy way to do some shipments, I might take you up on that in the future. But give me some time to figure out something, and I will definitely let you know on that, man.
That sounds fantastic, man. Great night. by Benriach, y'all.
Oh
Much
yeah.
love to everybody. I really appreciate it. And again, I want to give a shout outs to Daniel H. and Andrew Page for the super chats, man. I really appreciate that. And until next time, yeah, keep an eye out. I'll have a new whiskey dropping Friday, and Telex and I will be back when we're back. Everybody have a great week. Stay safe, be well, and we'll see you when we see you.
Thanks again for that 7 Dust, man. That's awesome. I love that whiskey.
Definitely, man. Much love, everybody.
See
Take
ya.
care, be well.